Clock, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is approve the minutes.
I'll move. Approve the minutes.
Last week, November 28th. Bob moved.
As presented.
As presented.
Second.
On second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Consent agenda. Upon the recommendation of the Coffee County Housing Authority Board, move authorize director chairman to sign real estate mortgage release, acknowledging satisfaction in full debt secured by Marjorie M. Rohr, 500 North 12th, Burlington, Kansas.
Also move.
Tom's moved.
I'll second.
Bob second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Next is authorize director chairman to sign 5 tax abatements in the amount of $1,056.22.
Also move. I read through them earlier.
Tom's moved. All second. Any discussion? Hear none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
On mortgage.
We'll keep the book on the fun stuff. Housing Authority.
Okay, sorry Rhonda couldn't make it today, but here's what I will be requesting for.
Oh, good old Trey.
Yes, so this is at 1014 Allegheny in Burlington. It is condemned by the city. I believe that the owner has actually passed away now, but the city is just wanting to ask that the landfill fees be waived so that when they do open bids on Wednesday, that they don't have to add that into their construction fees and stuff. So.
I so move.
Tom's moved.
Second.
Bob second. Any discussion? Hear none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Need pictures back?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Just one of 3.
Probably do that lot a little bit different off there.
Yeah. Do a lot of good.
We'll call her 905 Bryson Meets Leroy Subdivision.
Good morning.
Morning, Bryson.
I spoke to you on the phone a few times, but never met you in
I
person.
did. Nice to meet you.
Nice you too.
Thank you so much for putting me on.
You're
with them.
welcome.
Hello. My name is Bryson. I am Don's great nephew. I'm from Leroy. So we have been working. I'm with a group called Love Leroy. We've been working actually with Bobby Skipper last year on a subdivision on the western edge of Leroy. I, myself, and my mother currently own the land. It's 8.9 acres. It's currently in the county. We are wanting to turn it into a subdivision. So as you can see on the first chart, Leroy's housing numbers have fallen in housing units. This year alone, there's been 6 houses bulldozed. And then our population from 1980 until 2020 has fallen drastically. On the back part of this chart is Coffee County's population as well, and you can see that we're on the same course. So we are wanting to propose this subdivision to the county. We have brought it to the city of Leroy 3 times last year. The city was all in favor of this subdivision. There was just a lot of rumors that tanked it. We proposed it 3 times and we didn't really get any movement on it, so then we kind of just let it slide for now. But I watched the meeting where you guys did the housing study, and it sounds like the whole county needs housing. So we have brought this to you guys. I also have Bruce from BG. He's the one who has drawn up the map. So right now it's 1 commercial spot. We're hoping for a Dollar General, something commercial, and then 14 residential lots. The lots range anywhere from 11 to 12,000 square feet for the residential. The commercial is a little bit over an acre. An incentive to this is my mother and I are deeding the lots for $1 to any developer that would like to build a home, and even the commercial.
Okay, can I stop you for a minute? A question.
Yeah.
This is in the county?
This is in the
Have you
county.
been to the county zoning and planning board yet?
So what our plan is to meet with you guys. I have, and we haven't moved forward with it. We talked to Heidi in the zoning board multiple times about there's a 1 acre tract, and then there's a subdivision plat. So the problem with it in the county is they have a 1 acre minimum. So our plan is to present it to you guys and then have the city then annex it. So then I wouldn't have to go to the zoning board. Leroy's problem was that they were in financial trouble of paying for the whole project. So that's where we're coming to you for financial support to get this project going.
I think you're jumping too far ahead. First of all, if the city wants it, they need to be annexing it and then go from that process.
Okay.
And if the city comes and requests help, then we will deal with the city on it. But I think if it's in the county, you need to be going to the county planning board first before you come to us, because they will look at it, and then they will approve it or disapprove it, and then they will bring it to us, and then that's when we take place. I
Okay.
think you're jumping too far ahead,
Do you
just
have
my
any
opinion.
comments since you're on the zoning board?
No, I've none. I've abstained from anything on this from the
Okay.
zoning board so far.
So we did go to the zoning board, and I just think that our problem is with the city council. So we don't really have a problem, but we do. The city does not want to move further with it on the annexing part until we know for sure from the county that we will get support from the commissioners moving forward with this project. The council is a little weary about the financial support of it. I mean, they have infrastructure money that they have, but the price of this project is significant. In cities like New Strawn, when tax came, the cities don't have the money to pay for this project. So that's where I'm coming to the commissioners, so then I can go to the county or the council tonight and tell them how you guys feel about moving forward with this project.
I see what you're trying to do here. You know, it's been said by me many times that if we do a subdivision, that all of the costs associated with that subdivision tax gets levied back to each lot. So if it's at I'm gonna use 100,000 as a round number, you got 10 lots, each lot gets 10,000 assessed to it for taxes to reimburse us for paying for the infrastructure.
Yes.
And so that's, I think, the kind of help you're hoping to see.
That is our goal. Our goal is to have the county come in and help us get this project going, help us make this happen so our population stops declining, our school enrollment stops declining, and then the city would then annex it and maintain it after it was, and then the county would then put an assessment on it for however many years it was.
Okay, so do you have any sort of costs gathered yet?
That would be a Bruce question. Yeah.
So, would you like me to?
Estimated costs?
Yeah, last year it was approximately $1 million, but that would also be with, we're looking at a lift station now, possibly in a force main, so things would need to be updated. We have not updated them this year, but construction prices, you're well aware, have gone up 25% to 50% on some items, so.
Mm-hmm.
So this is also, and Bruce can help me out on this, this is a revised map. So the county has also paid $10,000, $11,000 for the original plat map that Bobby did. That came out of economic development. So in that original plat, it had 2 commercial spots and it only had 11 homes. We took out one of the commercial spots because we feel the need that residents are more important at this moment than another commercial spot. So we have added, this is an updated map, and we've added 4 more homes to it. And we've shrunk lot 10 a little bit, and we've taken out a road and added a road.
Bryson, do you live in Coffee County?
I currently live in Kansas City. I am home every weekend, so it's practically like I never moved. But I do own a downtown building in Leroy. I own this property, so I'm very invested in the community.
So you've got 16 building like sites? Is that what I'm counting?
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep.
Biggest number, 16.
This big one at the very bottom would be where the lift station would be, this big purple or pink square.
The 9? Is that
Yes,
number 9?
that is where the lift station would be.
Okay. And 1 commercial lot, 16 residential, 1 commercial.
Yes. Or no, 15 residential, 1 commercial.
Excuse me, yeah.
And 13's a commercial?
13 is a commercial.
Has anybody spoke with Dollar General or anything from the city?
I have, personally. I've spoken to Dollar General, I've spoken to Dollar Tree. Their problem was Leroy does not have enough rooftops to get a Dollar General going. So I told them about this subdivision, and they told me to come back to them when they have, when we have a more permanent plan of what's in place. I don't think a Dollar General would be against going in to a new subdivision surrounded by houses for land for $1. I don't think they would deny that. And Leroy is in need of something like that.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Tom's scenario. With adding it to the tax roll.
If it's $1 million, 15 lots, just using 15, yeah, that's $3,300 a year.
So right now, I can tell you, the property by itself is 8.9 acres. I pay $960 a year in property taxes. So
Pretty cheap, isn't it?
it's very cheap. So adding a commercial lot plus 15 new homes would be a win-win, not only for Leroy, the city, getting property tax, getting people to the school, getting people to go to the pizza parlor, you get tax there, you get gas tax from your co-op, you get children, then the county gets money as well.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a win-win for everybody. I know it has a big price tag and it's a lot to ask, but as you look at the chart on the first page, that's a drastic decline, I feel like.
So, I mean, again, the thought is to assessing the cost,
Yeah.
dividing it up against each lot. Of course, the commercial lot's gonna pay a little bit more than the residential's, because you got more footage, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's a cost that you would have to absorb till you get them, like, sold.
So I have been working with developers, and Mike is one. We've been working with Cassie and Nick Bailey from Waverly Post Frame. When we went to the city council, pretty much all of the lots were spoken for. Mike was ready to build, Cassie and Nick were ready to build, we were ready to go. It was just, we needed movement from the city to move forward, and the price tag was, I feel like, too much for them. And it was scary, because they were going to have to drain their infrastructure money, and they just didn't want to move forward at that time. So,
Bruce, earlier comment, you know, that last year was $1 million estimate, and things, I do understand things have gone up. So I mean, now we're between the 1 and 1.5, would be a good way to digest that.
That'd be a fair assessment.
Yeah.
You're talking, what, 1,000, 1,200 square foot homes?
Yeah, it was, our goal is 3-bed, 2-bath, so you can fit a family. That is our goal.
And that's between 12 and 15.
I'd say 1,500
That's
would
up
be
to
the.
developer, but
Yeah.
ours, for me speaking, or thinking is, you know, if we need to speak to Skipper, we need to see, you know, we've got a lot going on right now with the
Yeah.
jail and CHIPS Act and just tons of things going. I don't know if there's grants available for us to help get this off the ground. I'd like to see it personally.
And there might
As long as
be,
everybody's in the understanding and agreement that the money gets divvied out to each lot, and that we get reimbursed for the next 20 years. I say a 20-year assessment, but that's just, maybe there's another rule that I don't know about.
yeah.
I'm for it, I don't know what,
These small towns in our county need houses. The county needs houses.
I see a trend starting here now, because a month and a half ago, we had a guy from here who wants to build 50 houses at New Strong.
Mhm.
The theory was, if the county will support us, then the city will annex us. I think it's a good concept, but I'm not gonna support it as of now, because I think your guys are all going about it the wrong way. And I fully understand, yeah, you want everybody supporting you before you even throw a dollar into it for investment, I understand that. But if you're gonna get out somewhere, you've got to take a chance on some stuff. If you want it done, you can't expect someone else to do everything for you. And that's what's, the trend is going here, and the same thing's happening out in New Strong, in my opinion. And I represent New Strong, but I would oppose us doing that at Strong also. Because, everybody, it seems like the trend here for the last 6 months or last year is everybody, come to the county, let's get the county to do this for us. We're here to support the people of the county, but we're not here to take certain organizations and do it. We're here for the whole county. So, I mean, I think what you're doing is great, but I think you're going about it wrong.
Okay. I just think the county, yeah, you guys represent the county. The county in general, I feel like a development like this would benefit everybody in the county. You add housing, you add growth to a community that is dying, you add children to a school that is dying. I mean, if you continue on this trend of the county, I mean, Southern Coffee County is down to 170 kids this year. Since 1980, where were we? I just feel like you have to invest in the county in general. And I feel like, I mean, if that takes a subdivision, that takes a subdivision. If that takes, building up a community in New Strong, I feel like that's what it has to take. So, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I do, but I feel like everybody has to work together to make this happen, and that's where I stand.
I'm not sure, I mean, I don't think it's a cart before the horse, to me, but that's just my take on it. I think it's a very good idea, and the county's not out any money. It takes money to make money. You have to invest in yourself to make money back in yourself, to make money back. So there's where I go. I mean, I would like to hear from, I guess in my thinking right now, you know, need to digest this financially for the county as well. Like I say, we've got a lot going on between the jail, CHIPS Act, and everything like that. You know, is there something in Skipper's toolbox that can create another CID or something in similarity to help this project off and going? I don't know.
I know at one time he talked about an RHID.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Right.
I've talked to him about it a little bit, and it hasn't gotten anywhere.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here today, to push this. I want to push it to where it does happen.
Okay.
I wouldn't be against an RHID, or anything that Bobby would have. Maybe, what's his name, Saban from Capital Improvements, they might know grants. Southeast Regional Planning Commission. But my commitment, or my request is that, so I'm going to the City Council tonight to give them your input about this project. And I was just wondering your thoughts of how you feel about it, so I can report to them. Because I'd love to come back in January and revisit this and tell you what the council thought, and
I'm all for it, like I say, I mean, if the CHIPS Act deal goes through, I mean, we're gonna need the housing, even if it doesn't, we still need housing.
Still need housing.
So, so if there's grants available, great. I mean, if there's a way we can finance this and get our money back, great.
okay,
I'm not gonna discourage you.
okay,
Trudge on.
okay. Do you recommend that I meet with Bobby, or should I?
But I know he's, like I say,
I know he's very busy.
a lot going on.
He is super swamped.
The timing of this is,
Yeah, timing's not the best.
yeah, but, I'm just one commissioner, but I mean, we're missing two today, so.
I know the study has been, Coffee County needs housing. It does. How are you gonna get housing?
Yeah.
You know, this day and age, you're not gonna get people to go out and put out $10 million of their own money to do something. You know, there's gonna have
Well,
to
in a
be
sense,
some.
they are, I mean, it's, they're financing the houses themselves. All
Right.
we're doing is making a sewer and water connection for them,
Right.
and we're getting our money back. Well, I assume the street goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not totally opposed to this, but I also, we give the cities infrastructure money, and that's why we give them the money, so they can develop their infrastructure. And every time they wanna add on, if they wanna come to us and say, we need money to do this, because we don't wanna spend our infrastructure money, then maybe, why are we giving an infrastructure money then? I mean, why aren't we just paying for stuff when they come and do it? So, I feel like that I just kinda feel like that till we say, yeah, we got skin in the game and we're gonna fund all this, nobody else wants to get involved in it. So I don't think that's the appropriate way. I think the city should step up and have a commitment to it before you even come to us, because as soon as they annex it, it becomes their problem, not ours. Because we do not have any say-so in the cities. So I mean, I'm not totally against it, but at the present time, I'm not gonna support it because I don't think we have enough information and stuff going on about it.
Could you ask the city of Leroy to do a cost share program with them to split the cost?
I'm sure we're open for, I myself would be open for any sort of negotiation, and
I mean, maybe
Bruce
that's one
probably
of those.
could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is not a rarity that any developer comes to a city or a county asking for assistance to get the infrastructure in, and I would say it happens all the time, that monies get assessed to each one of those properties, and that city or county gets their money back by that way. So, not to mention the money you're gonna gain from property tax,
Electric revenue, water.
water, all
Yeah.
that, so. That's why I'm on board, so.
Okay.
But again, I'm just one, so, I mean, and Bob's probably right. I mean, if the city wants to help in the game, get some skin in it, that'd be great. You know,
It's gonna
Bobby
be
or
beneficial for
somebody-
the city just as much as it's
City's
gonna be
gonna benefit.
beneficial
Oh, yeah.
for the
Oh, yeah.
county.
yeah, so,
School district,
School
city,
district,
all of them, it's snowball effect.
yep.
Well,
We haven't heard from anyone other than you,
yeah.
so I mean, you
Gotta
know,
start somewhere.
the city should be in it.
Well, I'm going to
Very
city
big.
council
They
tonight.
should be in it from the very beginning before it even comes to us, in my opinion. So that's where
Well,
I'm at with it.
the thing was, I think the council would like some reassurance from you guys that you guys support it, and maybe that you guys would help financially if need be. So that's why I'm coming to you to see what your thoughts were on it, so I could go back and report to them that the county commissioners are for it, they're in favor of it, they would like to support you, how can you help them, vice versa. So that's why I'm coming to you guys.
I think there's favor to work together.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a closed door, but I think the city needs to jump into it, and then they need to come to us, and we need to work things out. You know,
I agree.
the fine print, and I think Bob would be for that if the city would come in.
I'm not opposed, but I am opposed to the fact that cities say, well, we're not gonna spend our infrastructure money, we want the county to fund this for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we give them the infrastructure money, to spend on things like this.
Yeah.
If they're willing to basically deplete their infrastructure money, and they still need some more money. We've done this for other communities too. We've helped them. So, I mean, that's where I'm at on it is, I just don't think that the county is an open door for anybody to come in and say, well, here, we need money. Let's have it.
Okay, so why don't, if you guys are fine with it, I'll go to city council tonight, I'll update them, tell them your thoughts, tell them my thoughts, and then next week, next commission meeting, I can report back, so we can get the ball rolling on this, if that's fine with you guys.
Yeah, we'll just keep the discussion going, I guess.
That's fine.
It was said by me, and when I first came on board, that, trying to up the city's infrastructure money, and that kinda got shot down, but I think we were all in agreement at that time that if the city, any city, had a worthwhile project, and was gonna spend, say, $250,000 of their infrastructure money, that the county would do a match fund type deal on a worthwhile project. I see this as being one of those, so.
And I think it's beneficial for everybody. It's beneficial for the county, it's beneficial for the school, it's beneficial for their city.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great project. I really do. I stand behind this project 100%. Leroy has been long in the dark of housing, and we need housing for the school, for the county in general, what's going on at Vito. It's been a long time coming, so I appreciate you guys talking to me. I will go see the council tonight. I will update them about your thoughts, and then I will come back next Monday and talk to you guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Nice fun to meet you.
You'll
Thank
need to get with the clerk and get on the agenda for next
I
Monday.
will contact.
We've been communicating.
Running a little behind, recycling, Todd, you're up, sir.
All right, good morning.
Morning, Todd.
So I don't come before the commission often and ask for much, but I'm going to today. And I'm gonna tell you how we can do it without spending any budgeted money. Okay, so for probably about the last 20 years, we've shared a lawnmower with the landfill down the road. And every time we need to use it, we gotta go get it and things like that. So I would like to get a lawnmower over on our side. And I've taken took some bids on this, and the low bid is local. I asked for bids for a 2022 Hustler X1 72-inch FX 850 EFI 29.5 horsepower with flex forks. I asked for bids from 4 companies. I received 2. One was from Neustron. It was the lowest. The other company that bid did not meet specs, and they came in a little higher anyways. So I would like to purchase this mower from Coffee County Honda and use funds for my aluminum can account with the recycling department. Now, we would have to use general funds to start with, because the auditors want this for tracking purposes, but I could immediately write a check for the amount to reimburse general.
Just so you guys know it, we did buy a truck one time from the aluminum can, so this is not the first time that we've purchased equipment from it.
So the bid from Coffee County Honda was $10,529. And I'll show you what we're talking about here. And the flex forks provide operator comfort and a more uniform cut. So I did make copies of this for everybody if you want to see the bid tabulation.
How many acres do you mow?
Honestly, I'm not sure how many's out there. Be right, yeah, right off the bat.
come from, general, and then he would put the money back into general, is that correct? The way that would have to work?
Yeah.
Or it could come from your equipment reserve fund, and we would
It
have,
could come from somebody, but you would.
Right. just for tracking purposes.
I would just pay for it out of your general recycling
Okay,
and then reimburse that
okay.
as a reimbursed expense.
I have no problem with it, because I know that the problem they've had a time or two is landfill didn't want to get rid of it, because they wanted to use it
Right.
at the same time. They have to run down the road, half mile down the road to get it, just back and forth, and then landfill routes it every once in a while because it's down the third place.
So, there's only 3 bids on this paper, because that's the number of spots we have, but I did send out 4. And, you can see on there that, Coffee County Honda was the low bid, and then the other bid that I received was for a 27 horsepower motor without, the electronic fuel injection, and it was a gas motor as well, so
Is this in stock now?
it is in stock now.
You have a place, yeah, you have a place.
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't quite sure, exactly how to make the motion, because I didn't know if we needed to have anything in the motion that talked about, you know, the funds coming from the general fund, or, here's how I made the motion, and you can tell me what you think of it. Moved upon the recommendation of the recycling coordinator to accept the bid from Coffee County Honda for a Hustler X1 72-inch, 29.5 horsepower Kawasaki FX 850 EFI in the amount of $10,529. Funds to come from the Coffee County Recycling aluminum can account.
Do you have a, part of this is gonna be for the weed department too, right?
It is, but I have the money in the recycling aluminum can account.
Do you have the money in recycling? Just recycling's account, because you're gonna have to take it from somewhere.
Well, I'd rather it would come from the courthouse general than my actual budget, just because I'm not going to have enough money.
But you're gonna put it back in.
Okay, so the aluminum can account money is not part of my budget.
Oh, that's true. It's not.
No.
So you can take it out of your budget and turn around and reimburse your budget with aluminum can account, can't you?
Yeah, is it gonna show a shortfall in my recycling budget if
No.
I do that?
Not if you reimburse it out
Not
of your
if
can
you
Okay.
account.
It's not.
Okay. I did not budget for that particular piece of equipment.
Right.
But you're still within your budget.
Right,
You still got the money in your budget. You just, the overall budget, you still have the money in it.
yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you
Okay.
budgeted for this piece of equipment or not.
Right.
And even if I didn't have money in my recycling budget, with it being within the general fund, it would still work, would it not?
We can make it work, but it would be better since it's actually going to you, that it's
Okay.
coming from your.
Okay.
That's
So,
what I do. I'd just reimburse yourself for it, basically
Yeah.
all you're
Okay.
That's all you're doing.
so then do you like this motion?
Yeah, but can we add, at the
You can-
end,
yeah,
can we
absolutely.
say funds to come from the general fund recycling capital outlay line item to be reimbursed from the Coffee County recycling aluminum can account?
Absolutely.
clear as mud.
I think it's what we did with the truck too, I think we paid for it,
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
and since you have the bids and everything, I'll make that motion.
Bob moved,
Seconded.
Tom seconded. Any more discussion?
You probably want to add that it's also in accordance with the purchasing policy. So the bid tabulation sheet you have, 1,000 to 999. He did the phone bid, but because it's from 10,000 to whatever the high part is.
Over
you have-
$10,000.
You have to approve it, so in my mind, I suggest you put, and in accordance with the county bid purchasing policy.
What he said.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought you said that, so. No more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now I've got another thing.
No, we're done.
We currently have 2 box trucks that we use on our recycling program. We use on our residential pickups as well as our business pickups. One of them is a 1995 GMC Topkick. It needed replaced probably a year or 2 ago. And we're having some issues with it right now. So, that being said, there is a 2016 Freightliner with a 26-foot box located in Coffee County.
What motor's in it?
It's got the Cummins motor in it,
M11, M10, L9?
and it is located at Thompson & Sons, Leroy, Kansas.
Actually, Thompson Sales.
Thompson Sales. It's a 2016, runs like a champ down the road. We took it out last week, and just runs fantastic.
How many miles is on it?
It's got 400,000 miles on it. Runs great. There's one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is that it does have a salvage title. You can't really see from the picture, but the hood's got cracking in the fiberglass, and the windshield's cracked. Wade has agreed to replace those.
Does it have a Tommy lift on it?
It does have a Tommy lift, and you can see it from that back picture.
Uh-huh. Is that an advantage for you?
There's times that could definitely help us.
Safe from lifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have on the one you have now, do you?
No, we have no Tommy lift on any of the trucks. And this one kind of folds up underneath.
Yeah, it's not like the old ones where it blocks the
Right.
door when it's up, this tucks underneath.
Is it air ride or spring ride?
It's air ride.
It's air ride, yeah. Rear tires are like new.
So what are you gonna do with the old truck? You gonna keep it?
We don't need it, no,
Don't
no,
need it to,
no, we don't need it.
so you have intentions of trading in or just selling that?
I did not even ask that.
I'll trade for anything but a horse.
You have a price on this?
Yes, the price on this is
But I haven't looked at
$32,500.
it.
And same as the last deal that we just did, I have funds to pay for that in my aluminum can account.
What motor is this? I know it's a Cummins. What number?
I think it's an ISB, I believe. I don't know if
Non-sleeve?
that's- Pardon me?
Non-sleeve?
I can't tell you that. I can sure find out. I don't deal with these smaller engines that much, Jesse.
Me neither.
Not very.
I know there's good and bad, that's all I know.
Right. I almost think this is sleeve, but
How
I'm
many
not.
miles is it?
I would find out.
400,000.
400,000, yeah.
It's hard to say no when you got your money in the account.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got it.
Well,
Yeah.
How many miles do you put on one in a year?
A lot of the miles are slow miles.
I know, but
Um,
I'm just curious.
I really couldn't answer that. I'm gonna say we probably change the oil every 3,000 miles, maybe 3 to 4 times a year. So,
10,000.
yeah, at the most, I would say probably
Probably
10,000.
got more idle time than you got miles.
We do, and stopping time, so,
I don't have a problem with it. You've got it in your budget, you got it in your account. It's hard to say no to somebody that's got the money saved up in an account.
Yeah.
So,
I wanna say one thing. When we started this, aluminum can account, we borrowed $2,500 probably from the general fund to fund it, to have money to pay for the aluminum cans that come in. And we paid that back pretty quickly. And so then we have, we've bought and sold, you know, through that account over the years. And yes, I have money to cover both of these purchases and still leave us some in the account.
Pretty good,
To
because
operate.
if we buy this, he will have bought 2 trucks and a lawnmower with that money.
Yeah.
The old truck, is that something that we just wanna stick out on
Wave or
auction site or
something.
somewhere and just get rid of it?
If there are no plans to have a county auction in the near future, that's what I would recommend. is
Well,
we
you said you had a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah. Well, right now, we have a leak with the fuel pump, and we can't find a new fuel pump anywhere, and we've had Craig Metzger looking for us, down at the Road and Bridge Department, and he can't find one. Alls I can find are used ones online, so.
If it was going out of county, I'd say to try to trade, but if it's going in county, I say let's just, let's just don't create it. And
Well, if I was to trade for it, it'd be, I don't have any use for it, you know. You'll get more money out of it if you put it on the internet, 'cause that's what I'm gonna do with it if I trade for it, you know.
Okay. So we might as well get it all instead of.
That's what I would suggest, you get the most out of it that
So
way.
let's hear your motion.
Well, we're gonna have some additions to it like Angie did to the other one, but I have moved upon the recommendation of the recycling coordinator to purchase a 2016 Freightliner 26-foot box truck in the amount of $32,500 from Thompson Sales LLC, and then I have funds to come from the Coffee County Recycling Aluminum Can account, but we can have Angie add to that. Pardon me?
Did you do bids on this?
No, it's not a new truck, it's a used truck, and it's local.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd ever go about doing it.
Yeah, you
Trying to find anything.
They should probably say LLC, Leroy, Kansas,
Yeah.
so that they know it's Dillon County.
Since he didn't take bids, do we need like some
Do we need-
explanation due to
Do we need Wade back
I would
in
say
here?
like
Single source.
for availability,
okay.
necessity and availability.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, look at what we done with the county, the other
Road and
trucks,
Bridge.
how many wait times we waited, and this is a truck that's available, and you're having trouble with your other one.
Yes.
And you don't gotta spend a whole bunch of money traveling, looking at
And
junk.
if it goes down, now, we have rented trucks,
We have.
so we don't wanna get into that, so.
We spent a couple months renting a
Yes, we
U-Haul.
did. And that truck didn't really work very good either.
No.
I just didn't know if we needed something there to make sure.
Are we running out of time, lady?
I'm not,
I got 7 minutes left to make currently.
Okay,
See,
you
I
gotta
might have
do
to
subscribe.
start another one.
Okay, sorry.
well, I'm not a Freightliner guy, but I'll make the motion.
I'm glad Bob's moved, or Bob's moved.
Sounds like he's done his research, so I'll second it.
Bob's moved, Tom seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you very much. That's all I've got.
thank you.
Thank you.
So Heidi, do we wanna wait? We don't want that to run out or midstream, do we?
I haven't gotten anything yet.
So, no, we probably maybe wanna start a new Zoom meeting.
Start a new Zoom meeting?
And I'll go ahead and get it set up real quick.
That's fine. Sorry, we ran way behind.
Did you hear that? We're gonna start a new Zoom meeting, so I'm gonna make another one. So we'll be right back with you.
I basically agree with you on this, but
I can see where they want some to know that they're gonna be supported, help get the construction and before they go annex.
so it should be the city coming to us asking us that.
What was the price tag on that?
32,500.
Go for the the presentation from Leroy.
They didn't have one.
They didn't have a price.
They didn't have one.
Just an estimate.
There's a lot of ifs and ands that,
Last year's estimate before everything took a jump was around 1, so if you can assume 20 to 40% or 50%, you might as well say something between 1 and 1.5.
But also stuff's come down.
Some has, yes. Plastic's starting to come down.
Sewer and utilities, or?
Yeah, that was road, everything. Which wasn't bad. I mean,
Why
but
couldn't,
of course, you know,
I guess,
why couldn't our road and bridge do the road?
I guess one of the things, my concern is if we give them infrastructure money and they want to save their infrastructure money and just kind of get money from us, that's not the point of infrastructure.
and I understand that statement, but when you're assessing it to the taxes, you're really not giving it.
No, you're not.
Investing it, so.
That's exactly right.
Did you buy your tickets for the Fiesta Bowl yet? No?
No,
I thought about going, that'd be a fun game.
I can only imagine what those tickets will cost.
What was that? $100
Yeah, your means, shoot.
$100 maybe.
I like to sit in my living room and watch it there.
Nah, I'm with you.
Turn the announcers down and watch it.
Yeah.
Right. Do the play-by-play with a Michigan announcer who's doing it on the radio.
Yeah, there you go.
Although the timing probably isn't gonna be exactly right, but.
New Year's Eve, isn't it?
What's that?
New Year's Eve game, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's the 4 o'clock game.
It'd be a blast.
Could be.
My nephew just lives down the road from there. I think I might have to go.
My uncle lived in Scottsdale, just moved to aerospace engineering, doing something, I have no idea, but put some satellites up in orbit and did something super top secret.
Spacey stuff.
Yeah. Worked in Motorola, General Dynamics, and NASA at one point.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
Be a pretty fun game.
You can just wear a purple shirt. Even if you were, I mean, you would be a Michigan fan, well, that'd be blue, though, excuse me, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the K-State TCU game.
I might have to go give him a call and see if he can jump onto the new one, because the other one expired.
Can we take a break while she's doing this?
We
then?
can,
There he
oh,
is.
there he is.
There he is.
Okay.
Okay, we ready?
Mike, are you there?
Is the volume up?
No.
It should picture him when he comes in, I would think. It says muted up in the top.
That's how you can,
You can.
yeah. I think it's there.
Hey, Mike, are you there?
Wait.
Well, our video's not on, so I don't know if you.
It comes off the screen, the laptop. There he is, maybe.
No, our video will show.
There he is. Mike, can you hear us? You can hear us?
We have to go
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
See what time it'll be when he gets down.
Can you say something?
Something bad, I can't hear you guys.
Just think we do this in a quarter.
Gotcha.
Same way.
Work is good. Depends on the day.
Can we call him on the phone and we can see him and listen to him on the phone?
Mike, would you be good with that if we called you on the phone and then you do video through there? Okay.
If you just say Don.
Oh. Nope, that one on.
That's not how I like to do court.
I'll have to go get the application. I don't have it done here.
Okay.
Right back.
I should have it, but I don't. This be agenda item number 1.
No, it would be 4. Or actually,
That's
5.
actually, but this would be the agenda item for the zoning board, right? Not the commission board.
Oh. Yeah, I guess.
Be agenda item number 1, because she's only got one presented to us. We're 4 and 3, right? Don doesn't count?
Yes, correct. Well, if he's on the phone, he's gonna stay through it by phone.
Don, are you still on the phone?
Yeah, I'm still here, Jesse.
Okay.
The sound's not coming through very clear, so I'm not picking up very much, but I am still here.
Okay.
If I were you. 3 then.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use your phone.
Oh.
I don't have an iPhone. Sorry.
You got the number there?
Yeah.
1620
It's actually 310
310
387
387
6958.
There's a zoning board's recommendation in this book.
Good
morning.
Mike, Jesse Knight, Coffee County Commission, you're in a public meeting.
Morning, Jesse.
Morning, sorry, we're kind of having some difficulties, don't know if it's on your side or our side, but there's more than one way to skin a cat, so.
Yes, sir. I don't know, I can hear everything you guys were saying just fine.
Okay, yeah, we could not hear you, so, all right, we're gonna get started. Heidi, do we adjourn from the Board of
I
Commissioners?
don't know the answer to that.
No.
No, we don't, okay. All right. Call agenda item number 1, the consideration of case number SU 2022-03. This is an application for an establishment of privately owned seasonal recreational area for family retreats with arrangements for related residential dwelling site as a special use in an A1 agricultural district. Does anybody wish to disqualify themselves from this case? Nobody is disqualifying themselves from this case. I declare we have a quorum of 3 present for the consideration of this case. Has the clerk received any petitions, protest petitions on this case?
Let me check. I don't believe so, but let me check. No, we have not.
0 petitions have been presented. summary hearing. I ask the governor body members if they have all received copies of the unapproved minutes of the planning board meeting for November 16, 2022, which summarizes the public hearing on this case. I would assume everybody has got it.
Yeah.
Zoning administrator. I call on the zoning administrator, Heidi Harris, to provide us with a report on the case and the recommendations of the planning board.
So the planning board went through the case booklet that you have in your hands that night. Their recommendation was to approve special use 2000 SU 2022-03 with the following conditions. The applicant and agent will follow the recommendation of environmental health for all requirements according to this Coffee County Sanitation Code. The structure will be screened with the natural screening existing, for example, existing tree line on the property from the road. This property shall not be used for an Airbnb or RVDO rental property, and the use of the property is strictly for the owner's immediate family only. When Michael and Lindsay Schick are no longer using the property for a privately owned seasonal recreational area with relating dwelling site, the special use will be null and void after 30 days unless the new landowner goes through the zoning process to continue this use. And that is all I have, unless you want me to go through the booklet they went through.
I don't think so unless somebody has any questions about it. This is gonna be set back off the highway?
Yes, if you look at page 1, at the bottom, near the southern boundary there's a purple structure. That's where he's proposing to put it.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be about roughly 520 feet off the 75 highway, and that's natural screening, or natural shrubs that are there, that he's putting it behind, planning to put it behind.
So in essence, just a building permit for a weekend retreat for he and his family.
Yes.
Little hunting cabin, right, Mike?
Yes, yeah, somewhere just to store tractors, get rid of.
Let's see. Is there any questions for the zoning administrator from the governing body members?
I just asked mine, so,
You asked yours.
sorry.
Written communications, are there any written communications or petitions from the public? That would have been a no, correct? Applicant's presentation, does applicant wish to present any new information? Or there any, does the applicant wish to present any new information?
No.
No, he does not. Are there any questions to the applicant from the governing body members? I think we asked.
Yeah, is there a road to the south of this property?
Mike, is there a road on the south boundary,
There's no.
boundary of your property?
No.
So where will he come,
There is no road.
where will he come into the property
Go down
at?
to 20.
That blue X right there
Fifth.
is the driveway.
No, 25th is to the north.
North.
75 highway.
24th. 24th would be to the south. So the blue mark down on the southeast corner of your property is the potential driveway to your, building, southwest.
Yeah, there's actually already, 3 established entrances.
Okay.
Okay.
From the pipeline.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
Is this gonna be like a, Connex box?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have a lean-to off the side of that.
Okay. Alright. And I guess you make sure that it's not over the top of the pipeline.
Correct.
Okay. Very well. Public comments. Does anyone from the public wish to respond to the applicant's information or provide new information on this case not otherwise presented at the planning board public hearing? That should be brought to the attention of the governing body. Please raise and give your name and address. Let the record show nobody from the public is here to say anything. Do any of the commissioner members have any questions for the public? Nope, that's a mute point. Applicant's final response. Does the applicant have any further response to the public comments or any closing remarks? You didn't have anything, did you?
No, sir.
Assuming governing bodies have received all the information they need on this case, I will outline the choices provided under the state statute of the governing body action, KSA 12-757C. Number 1, approve. By the majority vote, move to adopt the findings and factors and recommendations of the planning board on case number SU 2022-03 and to approve resolution number
895.
895. Disapprove.
If you have a motion to approve it, you don't need to go through the rest of it.
I'll make a motion to approve case number SU 2022-03, resolution number 895.
Second.
Moved by Jesse, seconded by Tom. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Congratulations, Mike. Your work is done.
Thank you, everybody, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Great day.
Is that all we gotta do?
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And then there's the resolution. I made 3 copies, so
Okay.
I could get one and
We might as well
these you can have 2.
get that taken care of while we're sitting here.
So you just want
Oh, that says print range.
No.
And I signed that.
And you need to move it back into our regular meeting.
And we'll see if it gets done, signing. We didn't move out of it.
No.
We didn't move out.
We didn't?
Well,
Passed.
We should.
it was call agenda item,
Let's call it. Okay, you need to call the next agenda item too.
when we started, we called agenda item 1, and
I don't really know how all that works.
I don't know.
Yeah, we do it so often.
Yeah.
is the agenda item, it was on their agenda,
Yeah, do whatever number they
Yeah,
have
it
on
was-
there.
so it would have
Okay.
been agenda item number 5.
5.
So now you would call agenda item number 6.
Yeah, now we'll call agenda item number 6.
Actually, agenda item number 4.
4?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, it was
Okay,
agenda
4.
item number 4.
And breaks number 5.
Break's number 5. I'm all for a break.
Okay.
Take a 10-minute break, we'll come back here at
Is Emily shown in person?
No, it was gonna be over Zoom,
Oh,
and I haven't gotten any.
10,
gets her back.
So we,
There's no phone number to call, it's just an email, and I've been emailing, and
okay.
How about this bond approval? Is that like,
that's going on in Richard's office right now.
thank you.
so is there somebody that's gonna present something or at one, or do we?
I think,
Can it be moved up? I mean, Jesse's getting us through here,
Well, we're running behind.
and
well, I
holidays.
think,
We got a lot of stuff to sign.
Yeah, but not till 1 o'clock.
So I know they were opening at 10 o'clock.
yeah, they're doing the bond sale
That's right, that's
And
right.
then the call's set up to begin at 10 a.m.
They have to get through all their paperwork and whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind coming back, but I didn't know, I forgot about the sale today. I mean, I knew it, but I forgot.
Yeah, I don't think that could ever be moved up because
I don't
it's
think
gonna be
it
until
can.
one,
Correct.
yeah, I don't think it is.
problem coming back, there's not,
No,
they ain't
I
gonna
didn't
be
either.
moved up, or
I don't have a problem either.
everybody's
Take 10-minute break, come back at 10:15.
Okay.
Did you have a phone number for this, Emily?
No, she,
Okay, here we go.
We've got some, executive sessions today, or a executive session.
At least one and not two. So, I have a way where I can get this to work because I deal with it in this setup in the courtroom all the time, but I need to get my laptop.
Okay.
She may be sending one here, so just give me a second. So I guess she thought I was sending her a link.
Oh, gotcha.
I thought she was sending us a link. So. We'll see what she says.
Now we got some things here we can initial send out.
That's why.
You have a meeting? A meeting? A Zoom meeting?
I don't, we got somebody who's on course.
Okay.
Is that what they did?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this. If she sends me a link.
Did you ever notice that? Yeah. First name. Mm-hmm. Is that on? Learn something new every day.
I brought this to your attention, because I've said that before.
Yeah, I showed it to you.
That's what we do.
Oh, wait, here.
See, Pelosi is.
Yay. I seen her pedaling her bicycle headed westbound.
Oh, that person.
Surely she could use a government jet to get her home one more time.
so Brad was asking me what size of TV we might want there, if that's what we're gonna do.
I think here, because that camera's not working, and I think that camera would hit this wall. I think.
What size?
What size?
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah. They've got, I seen they had some 82 inches for like $260.
Yeah, he's figuring out the time of year maybe buy.
Yeah.
If that's what we wanna do.
There's no signature page in this. You want to see if there's no signature page? Please.
No, I was trying to get into hers, but she's got stuff for that. Right, she's really nice.
See, I was watching, some trucking stuff on.
That's not
internet
helpful.
The other day, they were truck watching, so, different places, this one. East of here, all night trucking, overnight trucking.
One of mine?
20 years.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. That's not good.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was good.
There's nothing to sign on there.
Well, that's
There's no
Tom, and
signature
then
page for that.
it's me, and then she thought I was creating, and I thought she was creating it.
Oh, did I miss the check?
Evidently.
But she's not responding to me now, so.
I don't know what this is. There's nothing to sign on this.
Let me see what it is.
She said there was actually press.
Oh, okay, why?
Hopefully it's not like skin.
I don't know why she didn't have it.
And Terry didn't have one in hers either.
This is the same one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Or, I mean, it's another one. I don't know.
So we need, do you have the contact information for whoever this is?
She's been emailing me off and on, and I told her to get on the agenda and, so she did.
She apparently created a Zoom link, but it's for 1979. Today's date is 1979 at 6 o'clock.
How's that gonna work?
Well, as you can see, it's not working.
We're gonna have to go back in time.
So, like, Marty McFly.
I don't even think I saved the emails.
I've been 6 years old.
Jesse, come think of it, you're gonna have to sign all these.
Because, yeah,
Because there's
that is
only
right.
3 of us here.
That's right. Yep, I didn't even think about that.
So the setup, I talked to Brad, this little dongle that I plugged into the back would allow anybody to, you can sit anywhere in this room and control what's going on up there on the TV.
Really?
I don't have it connected just yet, but it's easy to. That's what I use in the courtroom all the time.
So they have the Perry bid form here. Got it.
So this is, I just connected, so watch. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Does he have to sign them? 2, 3.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay.
My laptop.
So you done?
Oh, I don't,
Oh, okay.
I need to have,
She's not answering me anymore, so I don't know what she's doing. I wish there was a phone number so I could call her.
well, I did actually. What's her name again?
Emily? Well, no, actually, you would have talked to, Emily was the one that was gonna do the meeting. The one that contacted, but she talked to you was Andrea Hill. There's my phone. Okay. Emily says, Wonder
So I don't do it on my phone because I don't know how to do it. Andrea Hill?
Andrea Hill. client representative, New Mexico.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't never quite sure about it. Yeah, you probably got something there. I have no, other than her name and email, I had nothing.
Yeah, I sent her a message asking for her phone number, but where did you meet up with her at?
She just came out of the blue on email one day.
Okay.
And, was asking me questions, and that's when I said,
Okay.
you probably ought to get on.
I didn't know if you saw her at a meeting somewhere or something.
No, never showed up on an email. Sounds like it's a nationwide deal, but there's basically all the emails I have, but I'm the same boat you are, it's just an email and.
Emily Robertson. Robertson.
Yeah.
She's the Kansas rep, I guess.
Sounds like it's a nationwide thing.
Hey, can you make me?
It all has to do with the early learning too, from what I read, which we were kind of early at that happening.
Actually, I think I'm right. Okay. Here's what Greg Ramberg just sent in. I'll take one and pass on.
Copies?
Yeah. I don't know if I have enough, so.
Yeah.
You got 3? I didn't print them. Maybe a main number for a national bank or one who's sold to them, but it's not 405.
405 sounds like 405, that's Oklahoma number, right?
Yeah, it looks like she was, there was a deal with some commissioners, there's when she goes, she addresses commissioners.
Here's the number. 405.
Can you get it here?
609. 9539.
If I can get her.
If it's the same person.
Hey, listen, I thought too, it looks like Emily, because I'm energy commissioner with Coffee County. Good, if we do a Zoom invite to you right now, can you hop on? Okay. She said she can.
Okay. So that's the email address.
And your email address is the Emily.Robertson, okay. Okay. Okay, can you be watching? It's gonna come from W. Bowie, which is our county attorney. He's getting the meeting set up. His computer's connected to our TV. Give me just a second here. Just getting it. I couldn't find a phone number for you, so we've been searching. That's okay. All I had was emails from you and from Andrea Hill.
All over the country. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not. We're working on it here. It's fine.
So we're doing one bond now, and then we're doing another one after the first of the year, is that right?
Entertain it after the first of the year, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
send an invite because mine's not.
Okay, his is not working. Can you send an invite to W. Bowie? This is the email to send it to. It's WBOWIE @ COFFEY county spelled out KS.org. Okay, W. Bowie BOWIE @ coffee BY on coffee county spelled out KS.org.
I'm sure they spell coffee right.
Okay, and then he's logging in to see.
Like to drink.
They do that quite
Okay, so
often.
his is connected to the TV.
You don't like them? Just keep me a Diet Coke, gotcha. Everybody's a hot water, it's hot cold. Careful, you stuck your throat. I just can't.
Are you in Oklahoma?
She loves the smell.
But you're the Kansas rep, is that what?
She's like you, she loves the Diet Coke, that's where she gets her. Get her caffeine. Yeah, get her caffeine. If I get enough stuff food and probably not good for my job. That's probably the tea good to me.
Just let me know when you send it.
My wife used to add coffee to her cheese coffee.
Looks like a full tank, huh?
It's gonna be a bad day if we can't get this coffee.
Okay. She's sent it now, so.
Pardon me?
Here's the folder those all go in. When you're done.
It's still not here yet. Can we double check the email again? Oh, there it is. We got it. Okay.
Thought we were gonna start getting all our propane from county. I see, landfill still using their stuff.
MFA.
MFA.
What's their price?
210,
Moore's is $195.
195.
I don't know if the volume's gonna work. We may have to put you on speakerphone.
That's what mine was last time.
195, yeah, that's what mine was. It's 15
It'll echo, yeah.
cents different.
It is
I
awful.
think this is the only one left that we have in that.
I've had that very thing happen.
Maybe we need to talk to
I
Jeff
just
and
need to
tell him that.
reconnect on that, so.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. We're gonna get you on our TV.
Technology is great.
We're just about to.
I don't have all that technology problem.
I don't either.
Oh, there's Wade. No, that's not Wade.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Wade.
Yeah.
Who's that lady with
Their
you,
body.
Wade?
That's Emily.
That's the one on Zoom.
She can testify.
She can't hear Wade.
Okay.
So this is, if I'm so this is just to check the sound if we go through the Zoom TV setup.
Sounds good.
We're good.
Okay. Well, then we'll get started. So, sorry for all the confusion. I will switch and get going unless you guys wanted to start with some questions or introductions.
So,
It's probably not to do introductions with it on the TV, but I can introduce myself in my presentation, but otherwise, you guys tell me.
so Emily, what I'm gonna do, because you don't wanna see me, I'm gonna move my laptop in front of the chairman, and then they can tilt it around so they can at least introduce themselves. So hold.
Oh, perfect.
I got a face for radio.
Yeah, me too.
Morning, Emily. Jesse Knight, Chairman, Coffee County.
Good morning.
Bob Saresi, Vice Chairman, Coffee County.
Tom Hugnan, County Commissioner, District 1.
So I'm gonna try to see if we can do this to where
That ain't bad.
I can see each of these.
Nice to meet everyone.
Turn it back a little bit.
I can scoot over a little bit.
I think that has 3 of you, so we'll start there.
Okay, I'll just get going. Again, apologies for all the connection issues. Technology is amazing if we communicate properly and I know who's supposed to send the Zoom link. That was my mistake, so my apologies. My name is Emily Robertson. Kansas is part of my territory along with Missouri, Colorado, Louisiana, New Mexico, and a few others. So I live down in Oklahoma, so I'm a close neighbor, and I grew up in Kansas City, but on the Missouri side. So I know you guys, Kansas fairly well from growing up. I have been with Wonder School for about 6 months. It is a passion job for me. I am a single mom. So childcare is often an issue for me. And then I have a sister who is in the childcare industry, so it's very near and dear to my heart, the struggles that the workers who work in the childcare industry face with affordability in childcare and things like that. So we're going to just hop in. I'm going to tell you who Wonder School is and what we do. Let me share my screen with you. So Wonder School, well, let's see if that's going to work. Give me just a sec. It didn't respond to my click. There we go. We'll just go through a quick introduction of who we are and what our background story is, the solutions that we offer, and then some of our successful partnerships that we have around the nation, and then we'll end with questions and answers and next steps. So the Wonder School story starts with that gentleman that you see there. That's Chris. He is our CEO and founder of Wonder School. And back in 2016, he built a provider-centric approach for family care, child care, wanting to support. Sorry, I'm getting a weird echo. Can we hit mute on your guys's? Okay, that seems to have, I don't know if he did something, but it seems to have, the echo's gone. And the woman, Julie, and she is the woman that took care of Chris when he was a tiny 0 to 5-year-old and needed care as a child. And so when he had first moved out to the Bay Area and was in the business industry, he kept hearing lots of friends and coworkers talk about the struggles of child care. And he reflected back on growing up in Florida and Yulee and his care that he received there and how he felt like it set him up to launch in a very successful way for not only his school career, but then into college and then just a business career in general, right? Like that early childhood piece, we know from 0 to 3, the child's brain or children's brains are developing the most. They're building all the learning pathways that they're going to have for their lifetime. So the better care they get then, the longer term success they are projected to have. So with that reflection in mind, Chris launched Wonder School to help providers start their own business. So we are very family child care center focused, helping people start small entrepreneur business, and then if they want to, they can be like Yuli, who started out with an in-home care facility and now owns multiple larger centers in Florida. We did some company highlights. We have partnerships in over 47 states. We have over 36,000 providers using Wonder School platform, 45 million raised in funding. Our most recent partnership is with Goldman Sachs, 1 million Black women. And we have a team of over 100 experts in early childhood education and software working for our team. And then we were recently named Time's 100 Most Influential Companies of 2022, which was super exciting to be a part of. So this is just a high-level view of childcare in Kansas. This is probably not terribly shocking to you guys. But if you haven't delved into the childcare world for a while and you're just hearing about it from your businesses and population, then this could be new information for you. In Kansas, the average cost to put an infant into childcare is $11,222 a year. That is 28.4% more than in-state tuition at a state college. So if you were putting a college kid through college, you would pay about $2,485 less per year than someone is getting their infant cared for. And this is just so you know, all these statistics come from the Bipartisan Policy Center that's looking at childcare as a massive crisis across our country. Infant care for one child takes 18.1% of the median family income in Kansas. And if you are a minimum wage worker, it would take you 39 weeks of work to be able to afford infant care in the state of Kansas. So how do we address some of these needs? Well, we work with counties like yourself or cities or states, and we help them recruit new child care providers to the family childcare world, which is the same certification and licensing that large care centers require, but they tend to be about 30% less in cost to families because they don't have the overhead costs that they're marking up for that a large care facility would have. So how do we do that? We expand access with new quality family care providers. We stabilize current and existing programs by empowering those providers with tools that help them manage their business successfully. All those tools can be run from their cell phone or a laptop. We wanted to make them very versatile so that if you were starting a small business and all you had was your smartphone, you could be just as successful as someone who could dump, $1 million into the business. Real-time data, so everything that we're doing produces data, right? Every click someone makes, every research they do, it provides us with valuable insight, which allows us to feed that information back to you guys there at the county or a city or a state and give them kind of real-time look into what's going on, or how we stabilize small businesses, particularly in child care industry, obviously is what we're talking about. Have we grown child care capacity in the community? What are people searching for? All of that, which allows you then inform policy and adjust funding allocations, whatever you might need to do, or take back to the state to help the state understand the needs of your communities and help them make the policy changes that they need to make. So, for example, we have a statewide deal in New Mexico, and we work very closely. I work with Secretary Gurginsky. She is over child care for the state of New Mexico. And they have done some increase in pay, which has helped stabilize their stuff. But they've also done some policy changes, like they made a policy change that HOAs can't stop people from opening a small care business in their home. So things like that allow them to make some adjustments to help increase the supply of child care for for their citizens across their state, because childcare deserts are everywhere, right? They can be in small rural communities where it's really hard to afford to build a center, and they can be in a large community. They have childcare deserts in Albuquerque. It's not, we have here in Oklahoma City has childcare deserts where people can't find childcare because there's not enough availability for their population in their part of the city. So it can hit anyone, anywhere. So what does it look like if we're driving new supply, or we're helping you recruit new providers into the childcare world? We do community outreach, we help them do environment planning and economies of scale, so we help them work together so they'll get to utilize the same tax person for a lesser cost, because we're bringing a large group of providers to that tax preparer. Licensing and regional compliance applications, we help them get through all of that. Things like doing their background check, fingerprints, all the home inspection, everything that's required by the state before they open their doors. We kind of handhold them through that process and keep them focused. We can get a new provider opened in 3 to 6 months, just depending on how fast they want to work through the professional development, those types of things. We connect them with a community of fellow like-minded local professionals as we develop that group, so that they can talk to each other about what best business practices are. We help them do business planning so that they work through and build a whole business plan, coaching through their struggles with other successful businesses so that they open their doors and remain open. We then continue to support them for the first 2 years of business that they're working in your community with our digital platform. So they'll have access to our software, which allows them to do automated invoicing, track all of the things that they need to do for the state, like diaper changes and food feeding and things like that, that allow them to stay in compliance. They can do all of that from our platform. After this initial cost, which either your county, city, the state pays for, which helps us recruit them and bring them on and get them up and running and provide our tools for them for the first 2 years. If they want to continue using our tools, which is like a turnkey website and all those other tools I mentioned, then they just will start a subscription cost with us, which is $2 per child per month until they either don't want to use us anymore or just indefinitely. Okay. The child care management system, this is what it looks like when they're working on it. They can do a recurring plan, they can do a one-time invoice. You can see how it allows them to work through their business very efficiently and effectively. All of that data is available for us to aggregate and bring back to you guys to show how healthy their businesses are. So I just want to be clear that when we aggregate it, everything becomes depersonalized. You would have no idea which business it is and things like that, but we'd be able to tell you their overall health. Like, are they collecting billings on time? Are they staying fully enrolled, which allows them to be more successful in their finances and things like that. All of that stuff is provided for them, and then we can, like I say, depersonalize it and just share to you their basic health scores, like how are they looking for your community health-wise in their business practices. They can also, as they grow to more centers, they can grow with that. The system will allow them to have multiple classrooms, multiple locations. So if they wanted to grow from an in-home care provider to a larger facility, they absolutely could, and still stay using the same thing. They can also communicate with mom and dad, send pictures, how their kid days are going. Mom and dad can log on and leave reviews for the facility, so they're able to, have real-time feedback from their clientele of how things are going. Now this, I'm so sorry, I bumped a button. This is our child care marketplace. This is something that we offer as well to go along and support the new provider placements that we have. And this is exactly what you see here. They get a map. I don't know if you can tell the color differences. The ones in green are not using Wonder School platform. They are a business that's fully licensed in the state of New Mexico, but they aren't necessarily using our products. The ones that are circled in blue are using the Wonder School platform. You can see how many different providers there are across the state. Now, this is not as busy as if we showed every single one, because we kind of we don't let it bulk up the map. As you drill down and look, it becomes more accurate with how many are available in your particular area. Parents can search by age range, availability. Does this program take subsidies, because they might need to, you know, have offset their childcare costs with state subsidies? What's the quality rating from certified parents? So the only people who can write the quality are certified users versus just someone getting on Yelp and writing a review, or getting all your friends to write a review. Program type, age range, they have availability. I can set up a tour from here. I can go in and look at their photos. I can see what, like, their learning style is. Are they Montessori-based? Are they play-based? You know, what does this particular program do, and does it meet my needs as the parent? And then moving into our next feature, we have coordinated enrollment. Leaders can utilize this to, like, families and providers, the best fits for their needs, while they can identify eligibility and priority placement. So this is oftentimes used on like the government side of things, where they're trying to figure out, like, if you're a subsidy receiving parent, you go to the top of the list of the help that's given and things like that, because you're at more risk, your kids are at more risk and have a higher need. It can wrap around all the support services that the state offers to give them additional support. Do they have a child that needs to go into early pre-K or things like that? So this is another feature that we offer. Now, I talked about data and how it feeds everything back. You guys get access to a data dashboard. You can see everything from, you know, the average parent rating for this month to are they utilizing their program that day, how many schools you have on the program, how many of their accounts are live and actively working, enrollment, wait list information. So if you have a long wait list, the gender breakdown, how many kiddos, if you're concerned about that, or male versus female, age groups, like, do we have 2 and under, is that the wait list is heaviest there, how many new enrollments you have, all kinds of information can be fed back to you so that you, like I said, you guys can make additional choices. So a lot of our partnerships will use this to decide, do we need to keep pushing for additional programs to be opened, or are we good? Like, we can let kind of people naturally move into that world versus us actively pushing to recruit and hire and stuff. So here's some examples of some of our successful partnerships. In Nevada, we have New Supply Creation for Child Care Desert. They have asked us to do 100 new providers every year for the next 3 years. We are in year 1 of that contract, and we are 126% served, meaning we are already starting on next year's new providers. There's that many people interested in not only working with children, but in their own business, which is very exciting, because as we know, for every dollar we put into child care, you get between $4 and $17 back in the community. So that is any combination of, you have a new business that's opened up, right? That child care provider is a new business in your community, so they're now paying taxes and functioning as a small business. So that puts money back into the community, but it also means that the parents that are taking their kids to that facility to be cared for have now got the opportunity to go back to work. And as we know, we have over 2 million women missing from the workforce that left during COVID and just never came back, which is obviously a problem. Okay. And in Indiana, we have another partnership there. We're doing the marketplace for them as well, the Child Care Finder, and you can see here again. And we list everyone when we do a Child Care Finder. Every licensed provider, whether they're using our platform or not, is available for parents to find and search. This may not be a fit. As I was prepping for this meeting, I think your guys' population, if I found the correct information, is around 8,000 for your county. Is that
Yes.
a little bit higher than that? Is that accurate? Okay. So this may actually not be a piece that is necessary, because you're probably not going to need tons child care providers, you need enough to supply your community, but you may not need a search situation going on like this. But it is available, and we have those. So we have Indiana and New Mexico using our child care marketplace. New Mexico also is using our child care platform. So we have gone out and reached out to all their current child care providers and offered them our software. The state paid for it, so it's free to the provider, but it's been paid for by the state, and that's to help them have insight into the health of their child care world. And we also just started a pilot for new supply, so we're doing a small pilot of drumming up new supply for them, seeing how that goes in their child care desert areas. So they've specified specific communities that they wanted us to do work in. Once we kind of knock that out of the park, we're going to grow that to a full-on new provider recruitment contract. And then Nevada, like I told you, we have a new supply provider. We're providing them at least 100 new providers per year for the next 3 years. All those providers will also get access to our software for free for 2 years of support from the time they start to help them kind of establish themselves and optimize their business. And then Indiana is just the child care marketplace finder, which allows parents to quickly and easily find child care that meets their family's needs. So this is a very high and quick, I didn't want to take a ton of your time. I know you guys probably have a lot of important things to do, but I wanted to give you a really good overview of who we are and what we do. And then now we can just talk about what your guys' biggest needs are, if you've identified those needs, and maybe which one of our solutions might fit for you.
For the biggest town in the county, we have an early center learning.
Hold on, you're on mute.
Oh, good.
All right, you're back.
In the biggest town of the county, we do have a early learning center. The school has started something. I think they're in the second year, I believe. Is that right? That the county commission has helped support. But throughout the county, there's need in the other smaller towns.
Well, what we cost to do a new provider recruitment and onboarding, so again, we do everything from a business plan. We really want them to be to all the certifications they need. We really want them to be stable and viable and a long-term solution. We don't want someone to be, a flash in the pan. When we do that recruitment, it's $21,000 is what we charge for recruiting them, taking them through the entire process, and then supporting them for the next 2 years. And that would give you one new provider. Now, for your smaller communities, those probably make, because they usually watch, depending on the age of the kid, because there is a ratio, approximately 7 to 8 children is what they can watch. If they're watching infants, it's usually more like 4, and then they charge more for it, right? Like, the cost as the kid gets older drops because they require less adult per child supervision, and so they can do that. So that would be probably the fit that works best. What we would want to look at, do you guys by chance know how many kids 0 to 5 you have countywide?
No.
No, not a clue.
If I had to guess, and I'm just making an educated guess, it's probably about 2,300. It's usually reflective of the state, the United States percentage, 25% of the population is 0 to 5. It can be off sometimes. You can sometimes have some slightly older communities where you have fewer kids and things like that, but probably in the neighborhood of 2,300. But that's something we want to look into, and then actually we can pull all the licensed care providers in your county and compare how many kids they can house. That sounds terrible. I hate that terminology because I'm a mom, and I don't want to think of my child being housed, that sounds very institutional, but how many they can watch and care for versus how many have need, and we can see, you know, what that makes sense for. In one community, they had kind of 3 towns equally spaced, and we decided to recruit 1 per community so that nobody had to drive terribly far, because they were kind of a bedroom community of a larger county that most people drove over to. So if it's something you're interested in, we can start digging up that information as next step.
I guess, yeah, we'd have to just,
Or if you want to, no pressure, if you guys want to talk about it and then circle back, you can.
yeah. I guess I'm following what your business is, but I guess when I'm sitting here thinking about it, I mean, if a child care facility needed your assistance, they would contact you, not us I mean, I guess I'm not completely understanding why we would be involved.
Because we would wind up initially paying this $21,000 per provider. If we wanted 3 providers or if we wanted 6 providers, we would pay them the amount of money for the 6 providers. They would go out and set up the providers in each town of the county, and that's what it cost us, instead of putting the money in the provider side.
Okay, so in the long run, I don't know, I guess we'd need providers approaching us.
Well, they would approach them, if I
For
understand.
business, if you're hearing that it's a need, so usually how this works is the businesses within your community say, we're struggling with childcare, and then your community members are saying, we have a problem with childcare, which pretty much exists everywhere. And then you would use, a lot of times our communities are using ARPA dollars because it's a one-time cost to get them up and running. It's not a reoccurring cost for you. For us to go out, recruit, get people up and running, and alleviate this need. Now, a few of our partners have actually teamed up with local businesses and shared the cost, so the county's come up with some money, and the local businesses have come up with some money so that their employees alleviate the stress of healthcare.
Okay,
Now you're following?
Does that help clarify?
I am, I mean, I was, but I wasn't, I don't know how to describe.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to do anything that would hinder the school's early learning child care here in Burlington.
Well, that's true, but we used ARPA funds to help them.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not sure we have any ARPA funds left.
Right.
But by the same token, I haven't heard an overwhelming cry for help in this area.
I have not either, in each town. I know Lebo's had some issues with child care, but there's a difference between daycare and early learning, as
Right.
far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Daycare is, yeah, I'll watch your kid. Early learning is, we're gonna teach the kids stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna push back on that just a smidge, because 0 to 3 is when there's brain development, and there's still these child care setting for that, and so you want to make sure that your kid is in the best setting possible, so someone really is thinking about, what do I need to do to be engaging this child and developing their brain? So 0 to 5 is usually not covered by, so my guess is what you have going on there in your local community with the school is for like 4 and 5-year-olds?
It's 0 to 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's from birth, basically.
Oh, they'll watch even infants.
Mm-hmm.
So they are doing that. So you guys should be aware that there's curriculum. People are thinking about what to present even, I mean, most of it's play-based when they're really young, but once they start getting a little bit older, they're really thinking about how do I use play to help develop their brain. But it's not just keeping someone alive until their parents come pick them up. Although we appreciate that as parents.
I'm still waiting for my brain to develop. I don't know if this would be maybe something that she would get in contact with Craig Marshall. I think she's muted, but if this would be something to throw towards Craig.
Maybe that's where my mind is headed for this. I mean, how do you initiate this and get it rolling?
Right.
If there's an overwhelming need, I got no problem helping out.
I would think Craig would know if there's an overwhelming need in the surrounding communities. I'm sure they've done their homework.
That would probably be wise, I think, to do that.
I have a question, Jesse. Is this program, it's designed to help providers start a business, it's not designed to help parents with any costs of the daycare, correct?
Right.
So when they were talking costs of $11,000 per year, that's not helping those people in any way, correct?
To my understanding, it's not helping the people that's having the daycare, or that's bringing the kids to the daycare.
Correct, there's usually state subsidies provided already for, those that are struggling. We help our providers understand how to help their parents connect to those funds or any grants available. So you're right, we help on the business side of it, but then we help our providers help the parents because that helps them keep their program fully enrolled, which helps that be financially viable.
That answer your question? Kind of.
So yeah, I think Jesse's probably right. Marshall would be more in tune, Craig Marshall, and
I would like for her to speak with Craig, or Craig to speak with her, or get them two tied together and see if there's anything that can come off from this, or if it's a dead horse. I don't think it's a dead horse. I think it's just the knowledge of what we need is the main thing. I think Burlington is full. I think they are full here at the Early Learning Center.
oh, yes. Yeah, I think they've maxed it out.
Yeah, like quick.
Or close to, anyway.
So.
I guess this is probably running a wait, which, means that there's still a need in your community. If they're full and have a wait list, it means they've got kids that parents couldn't find care.
Some of them are coming from out of county too here, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be wise for superintendent of schools and you to converse maybe.
That sounds great.
And, again, if it's an overwhelming cry for help, like the school started, I'm not opposed.
USD 244 is the school district here in Burlington. Craig Marshall would be the contact for that, I would think.
If I recall, when we were discussing this with 244, I remember Craig making a comment or something about, I think it was Waverly has a daycare center going at their school. And some others.
And they've got a waiting list.
And they've got there's others involved other than 244.
Right.
I mean, but there are the other school districts are already on board trying to do something with this.
Right.
I don't think it's, I don't think I don't want to step into what the schools are doing.
I don't either.
I don't want to be no.
I don't want to mess up what they've got going on, but I mean, if everybody's full, then obviously there's need for more. If everybody's full, there's a waiting list. So you gotta factor that, and they would know how many people are waiting at each location, how many's on the waiting list, and we would be ignorant to even assume those numbers, because they have them. So, I would say the best bet, get 244 Craig Marshall would be your contact, and then we can kind of go from there. That would be my 2 cents worth.
I agree. Still have her send her paperwork so the board can have it, because if things move forward up north, then it may become more of a
issue,
a necessity than what it is right now.
Right.
She reached out to us, she can reach out to the school district, my opinion is.
Yep.
She's got the product she's selling.
Sure.
And, yeah.
And that could even be something for up north as well, if it develops like it.
We had a facility there on site.
Right.
That
Right.
schematic I saw.
So.
Yeah, that'd be a good starting point, I think. I mean, because seems to have his finger on the pulse of all that, as it is anyway, so.
I think it's a general consensus, get a hold of 244 Craig Marshall and see what
Okay.
you can do from there, Emily. That's where, I would hate to jump in, and do anything that's gonna sidetrack or derail their stuff.
Totally understand, I agree. All right, I will reach out, thank you for sharing Craig, Marshall's name with me, and that he's District 44, that,
You cut out on us.
School District 244?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you for sharing that, and I'll just stop. I will email you guys, or at least Angie, because I think that's the, email I have, just some follow-up, flyers, so that you have my contact information and some information, so if things proceed and you get looped back in, you'll have that on your back burner, no need to do anything with it, but you'll just have it, and then I will reach out to Mr. Marshall.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, you guys have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
That's not our wheelhouse, I
No, I
don't
don't
think.
think 25% of our population is between 0 and 5.
I don't see how it could possibly be, but I don't know.
Well, I know Craig mentioned there was several using their facility that were from out of county. I mean, coming in,
They're also,
the hospital or wherever, so.
they're also planning on increasing their capacity.
Correct, yeah.
All depends on if they can get people to work there.
Yeah.
That's the big thing,
Yeah, everywhere.
finding people to work.
So Jesse,
Yes, ma'am.
I found the email from Tyler Ellsworth with Kuchak Rock, and he said around 1 p.m. they will report on the bids received to the commission and will request that the commission adopt the finalized bond resolution. And then following the adoption of the bond resolution, I guess he will get with you, me and Richard to have the bond document signed, and so that'll be after that.
It'd be 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock
Around
around.
1, yeah.
Yep.
He might be in with Richard now, I could go talk to him and see how things are going.
Well, he's got something for us.
Yeah,
You
Wade's
could,
got
'cause I think we're gonna be in executive session, so you
Okay.
can visit. Not 2 weeks of executive session, you surely ought to have.
Gone 2 weeks without executive session?
Yeah.
That's what we like, right?
Yes.
Are we,
We are at Roundtable stuff. We always start with you, so.
might as well start with an executive session, right?
might as well.
Myself, the board, this is attorney-client specific to its potential litigation slash litigation potentially involving the county or involving the county. It's sort of in the air right now. So 15 minutes, myself and the board.
Bob moves.
Second.
Tom second. Any discussion? Hear no discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. We will go in at 11:15 for 15 minutes.
Fall festival, whatever.
All right. Catch my breath. Wade didn't make it back. Is Bobby still standing out there?
I've been waiting, probably.
Oh, we missed him.
Yeah, they're.
We really don't have anything else until we're in our work session time.
But we don't even really have anything for that.
Really don't have anything for that, other than
We
the
have to
wait on bond.
which we have to come back at 1 for that, correct?
Yep.
I did just visit with Tyler Ellsworth from Kuchak and Rock. He's in with Richard right now, and he is finalizing all those documents, and so I confirmed that 1 o'clock is gonna be the soonest, and he said yes. So if you guys wanted to break for lunch and whatever.
We're gonna go for roundtable. We can hit roundtable real quick. You wanna wait until afterwards for roundtable?
Might want to do it. Yeah.
Tommy, you got anything? You got anything else, Angie? for
Yeah,
roundtable?
I do.
Sorry.
It's okay. So I visited with, last Thursday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, Richard and I visited with, Gallagher and Benefits Management, and right now, we're below what we were a year ago with our, insurance plan. We're, last year we were like at 54% usage, this year we're at 25% usage. So it's incredibly better. And so things are looking good there. We're gonna do I think a quarterly meeting just to kind of see where we're at. Aren't you gonna be on our insurance committee going
Yeah,
forward?
Jesse's on that, I put him on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just now was thinking Bob was.
I handed that to Jesse when we were downstairs.
And I did not notify you, Jesse, I apologize.
It's all right.
Next one I will, if you can make it, anyway. And we also talked about the short-term disability, and it is not illegal to use sick time in conjunction with the short-term disability. But Gallagher being our
Advisors.
yeah, basically our advisors, they suggested we not do that, because they said then you're basically letting the employee be paid at 100% off on sick time.
Well, the big thing is to get them back to work.
Right, and that was their thing. They said if you wanted to do 10% sick time, or, you know, give them 10% more, that'd give them 70% while they're off sick. And so then I contacted Christina, and she said most of their clients stick with 60% and do not allow the employee to access their sick leave as well. But she said if Coffee County does go above and beyond and allows the additional 10% to get to 70%, that would be a decision by the board. Once you decide this, though, then we can finalize the handbook, she said.
I'm not really for using sick time on short-term disability. That's why we're paying for the policy for
Right.
short-term disability, and
And if you're getting 100%, they're not gonna hurry.
they're not gonna hurry to get back to work, so. I
So
think-
is that a consensus then at 60%, just leave it short-term disability?
I would vote for it.
I'm for it.
Sure.
I'll let her know, and then that should finish that. I still been working with Exact Time to get all employees imported in, and I think we're gonna finalize that up this week. So, then we'll start using the time system hopefully here soon.
Okay, cool.
That's all I have, I think, for today.
What do you have for today? That's gonna be launched at the first of the year, exact time?
That's the goal.
The target.
Is that if everything works right.
But you're gonna still run a month
We're
of
gonna
both.
we're gonna do both, because, I wanna make sure it's working right before,
That's-
when we're messing with people's time.
A month
I've been
might
on the
not-
end
A
of,
month might not be enough.
it may not, we may have to go more.
We ran ours 2 months.
And
Our
with all of
system.
our employees, we may have to do more than that, so.
You might. Training, username, passwords, all that stuff's gonna have to, you know, that's gonna take.
I'm a
lot of
little
time.
worried that we're not gonna get it started by January 1st, but I don't really wanna say that yet, but
I'm
it's
thinking
just,
it's gonna be real tough.
it's looking like it's blowing up with everything, because I don't think they realize how much we have, so.
Right.
But it's still going good, so I'm not gonna,
Don't jinx it.
yeah.
All right, that's all you got for roundtable?
Yes.
Bobby, you got something for us?
We got a bunch of things.
Okay. Hit us with the shotgun.
I reckon, Wade, did you want to start off?
Yep. So Bobby and I have been working together. He's all over the place right now. A lot of things going on behind the scenes with the CHIPS project. One of the things that is directly tied to that's relevant for today's discussion is the closing on the property north of town, the Bailey property, and closing has been set for the 12th. So at some point in time, you'll need to make yourself available to sign the appropriate paperwork, and it'd be a good idea to go ahead and make an agenda time, maybe right after lunch, because I think there's several things already on the agenda for the 12th.
Yeah.
I know NextEra is gonna be here, I know somebody else is here.
We've got emergency management's gonna take up about an hour, then on break, then Whitney Dam Run. Probably about 15-20 minutes. And then you'll have a little bit of you have a 40-minute time slot there.
Do things need to be signed before the 12th on this?
I think that's when the closing set, right?
So it needs to be signed before the 12th?
No, sir.
We set it up on the 12th to get, so we did it in open session.
Would the commissioners stay
Well, that's
in
what I'm
open
asking.
session and
We
walk
had to-
across the street?
We had it set on the 12th, that's why I'm asking if something needs to be done before the 12th.
Or do we have closing occur here?
Probably, I mean, ideally have closing occur here.
Okay.
So about 10-20. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
Also, in dealing with the property, the current owners and
Or do we
occupants
10:30? Let's do 10:30.
of that property, want to open up and invite a commissioner, or if you want the entire commission to go, because then you get into the open meeting situation, but to go and tour the property, do a walkthrough, so that, I guess would be, they can point out anything that you need to be aware of, that you need to know about. If you recall, the contract had a provision where they have 120 days to vacate, and there'll be some future discussion about that. But for the 120, at least, the county will own that property, so the county will then turn into, for all intents and purposes, a landlord-tenant type situation. Then the county will have to have that property insured, and you want to make sure somebody's there. I think, as someone mentioned last week, that it's taken care of, especially with the weather situation coming up. If it gets cold, frozen pipes, so on and so forth.
Do we need to give it our insurance company to tell them as of the 12th? We need to, sorry.
I've reached out, I've not heard back to try to get everything in line that needs to be addressed as far as that goes. So hopefully either today or in the next couple of days, there'll be the phone call. Anything else?
What were those dates? Do you want the commissioners to decide on the date?
Don't matter to me.
You got December 9th at 3 o'clock or later, December 10th at 2 o'clock or later, December 11th at 2 o'clock or later.
The 9th's this Friday?
For
Yes.
what?
For the view.
To go and walk the property, so to speak.
I mean, I would go view it if somebody else didn't want to. So, or if somebody else wanted to, they could.
It's your district.
It's in my area, but it does not matter to me.
So I had planned on going whenever somebody was gonna go, and the 9th could work for me, just so I have a visual of what we're dealing with.
I've been in the front door as far as I've been previously.
I don't even know where it is, other than it's
that way.
Yep.
I can make myself available.
I mean, at least the person could have at least 2 commissioners.
Couldn't it be kind of like a fence viewing?
Good.
That's what it could be.
So with the caveat, and other than walking it, there's nothing else that's happening.
And what time is that?
Well, it says not 3 p.m. or later, so we'll have to coordinate at least at 3 p.m. or later.
I mean, I think you could view it like do it like a fence viewing, 2 commissioners and yourself. And these 2 volunteered.
4 o'clock on Friday. Works for me,
Okay.
I think.
You might want to think about it, Wade.
You can take the whole thing.
Thank you.
Unless Tim's available. I mean, I have something I can do, should do, but I can put it off to do this, so.
Okay. Well, my only thing, Tim's gonna be gone. That's my only thing. I mean.
Well, that kind of, yeah, I think no offense.
Yeah, he's done after January,
Oh, that's true.
but.
I'll make it work.
Okay.
Only thing to consider is and I don't know if you want to be there, new judge swearing in is Friday afternoon.
What time?
I do not know the time.
I've got the email somewhere.
I can tell you.
What?
3:30.
So I'll be there for that, but.
3:30.
3:30, I was
3:30.
right. Yeah.
So you wanna make it 4:30? That gives you an hour,
Gets dark quick. Want to see things.
be 5:30 by the time it gets dark, 5:45.
Bring a flashlight.
It's up to you guys.
Probably better make it 4:30. Will that mess you up more?
I'll make it work.
Okay.
I'll relay the meeting time to 4:30 to the Baileys. And also I'll coordinate for land and title to come here on the 12th to come to the commissioners and close. The other, so there, I can't say, it's not our position to say the state is going to do this or that, but they could possibly be already discussing the possibility of releasing incentives to the companies. I'll just leave it there. So that may have already, may or may not be taking place, but there's also the possibility that the state may or may not incentivize the county. As you know, this project, there's still a lot of questions, but we do know that the Fed is asking the local government, along with the state and the companies, to all have skin in the game. So with the idea that the state would have skin in the game, the infrastructure costs that we're now starting to realize is going to be pretty expensive to get all this done. The state has may have possibly expressed interest in participating. Certain numbers were discussed in a meeting with the lieutenant governor and his staff this last Friday. There were other items discussed where the state may or may not help the county in certain ways that are direct in helping the county achieve success for this project. I will try to share those with you here very, very soon what those are, but they're pretty significant. They may possibly be very significant, let me say that. On the same note that I'm using words, trying to be careful, it was also brought to my attention that it's a popular thing apparently to watch the YouTube videos from Coffee County Commission meetings. And some of those same politicians may very soon wish to more directly visit with the commissioners. So there was a discussion brought up on that. Wade, do you want to jump in on that? Or is...
So I think maybe the best way to describe it is the viewership of the Coffee County Commission meetings, probably maybe it's 150 to 350, and on a good day when there's a hot topic, it may get somewhere around 500 or 1,000 views. I think back when we had in the heyday of COVID and our local health officer sort of that issue that became national news, there may have been 1,000, 2,000 people watch the commission meeting. So with that being said, the further along this project goes, the more people are going to want to watch and see what happens here at this level. And with that being said, I think it's important that everybody here be aware that no matter what we say, what we do, especially in this setting, when you're live, people are going to want to pick apart who says what they say, and we don't want sound bites for somebody to come in and say, oh, well, Wade said this, and he doesn't care about whatever the issue is. And that's really the main point here is just, we're live, people are watching, and we need to take that into consideration at all times. So when Bobby talks about picking and choosing his words, someone could come in and take a 10-second snippet of something he says, and without the context of what's said before and after it, and especially if someone calls, and when the radio, not the radio stations, the news stations call, and they want to talk to the county about whatever happened on whatever particular issue, or if I have a case, there's no because anything that comes out of here other than what is live right now, there needs to be context behind it, and if there's going to be a statement made from the county level, it needs to be put in writing, because that way there's a document. So when somebody from, I mean, this will be a political issue if it's not already about this CHIPS funding and what's happening up north, and we all need to keep that in mind whenever we're talking in here or anywhere else for that matter. And I know people have been in here before, Bobby, some of the people who are working with the county on this project, stressing the magnitude of this project, not only locally, but statewide and at a national level. And there are some people who would come in and talk about things at a deeper level or a deeper discussion, but they're not going to because of there's significant implications for what's going to be coming to Coffee County if this goes through. And I've had the conversations with some of those individuals, and that they wanted to stress, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, how important it is that everybody here understand, and not just here, but in the county, and who is potentially questioning what the county is doing, for example, with purchasing this property and setting up this project to move forward, that it's not every day that you get the opportunity that Coffee County has. And, you know, I think, Tom, you put it best here several weeks ago or several months ago. A lot of people ask, what happens if Wolf Creek goes away? This is your answer to what happens if Wolf Creek goes away. It's not how did the individual that we were talking to, Bobby, put it, it's not a Democrat, Republican issue, it's not a political issue, it's at the end of the day, it's an American issue.
Amen.
And that's what this whole project is about. It's an American issue, where all the things that we've had issues with have been outsourced to other countries to our detriment, and it's bringing back the ability of this area to be a part of the American issue. And there's a whole lot more to it than that, but that's at a cursory level sort of what the stress is.
It's a win-win for the United States no matter what.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So there's understanding now that possibly certain state officials may want to talk directly to the commissioners, not through Bobby or anybody else. So the idea is that if the commissioners agree we'll maybe have, Mr. Tim, if he gets feeling better pretty soon, I'll hand off some cell phone numbers, and maybe he makes a phone call and invites some state personnel to come see the commissioners and organize a, I don't know, meeting.
I say we got open doors to them,
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
whoever wants to come down.
Yeah. Because of your closing date on the 12th, there is a request, there was possibly a request that some of the commissioners attend another meeting on the 12th, but it'll be difficult. It meant traveling to Kentucky, actually.
There is I don't know why, if somebody's gonna be absent, they could not sign the real estate documents prior to the 12th. If somebody would happen to be absent, you can sign the documents at any time, but it would need, I mean, of course, it'd be best that everybody is here and can sign all at the same time, but if somebody needs to be gone, I think you could sign your name prior to the 12th.
But until we approve them, we can't sign them.
That is true.
Yeah. So wherever somebody is, if that's the case, somebody could sign it, and then fax it in.
We couldn't stamp, could we?
Not till we had that. And that's just a.
Could stamp the day of.
Oh, when they signed it?
I really think it'd be important that the commissioners all be here on that day. That's probably one of the most important things that a commissioner's gonna do as a commissioner.
I couldn't agree more, but there is also possibility of some more important stuff as well that needs to be done.
Could be, yes. And I don't, not knowing that, I'm gonna
Right.
say as of right now in my mind.
Right, no, I agree 100%.
This is the most important thing that we could probably be doing.
And that's why I state if I would be willing to do the stamp if I need to be gone for whatever reason may be.
I think as the chairman, though, you probably wanna be here to make sure you sign it.
Wouldn't know why you couldn't, as long as it was a unanimous decision, why you couldn't sign it after the fact either.
And that's true too.
Put it in the next day and.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that on bank things before, so. One person signs and then one goes sign.
So we have three here.
I don't know if they do it here, I just, as a part of wrapping up some estate work with my late parents, I've signed a number of real estate contracts electronically on DocuSign, and I don't know if that's what they do here, but, I mean, once it's approved, signing something electronically, it has your name, the IP address that it came from, and the date and time that you hit, click, enter, or whatever it is. So,
I know Cameron does that, 'cause I had signed something for him.
I mean, that's a possibility too, if that's available.
So maybe we make this statement, we'll try to see if there's an alternative to you physically or any of the other commissioners physically having to be here. And provide those alternatives and also plan for the travel along with possibly with a state official to another state related to this CHIPS project on that day.
It might be one of them things for a person to take care of that and then roll out and do something else, I don't know. Just have to see how the cookie crumbles.
But we gotta be sure we have three here.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we have 3 present for it.
We have to have at least three here next, on the 12th.
Okay, well, maybe you'll just update them?
Yep. So, and as was mentioned, you know, the swearing in for the new judge is Friday, and that's a pretty big deal for this county because historically, all the judges were elsewhere, and the state created a position specific to Coffee County. So Coffee County is gonna have their own judge who's gonna basically hold court from here. They're gonna travel to Anderson County and Franklin County and do some work one day a week in those other counties. But their primary duty station and post is gonna be here. So, and that's, Kara Reynolds, who takes over. I don't know when she's gonna start holding court. Then in January, as I mentioned, they're gonna switch court days for the criminal side from Tuesdays to Wednesdays. So if you can be a part of that, that's great, but just so you know, it's happening.
Cool.
Last week, I got excited. There was a notice that came out through the email, and I just couldn't believe myself. I said, oh man, we're getting millions of dollars. So I sent Angie an email, all excited, saying, please, do the following. I'm still excited. And, of course I was wrong. It's a lot less money than millions, but it's still a lot of money. We got another round. It's similar to ARPA, but it's got some of the same rules, but it's under another designation. So I got to be clear about that. We don't need to refer to it as ARPA funds, but it's LFSCT funds. So Angie's done her part to request those funds. We'll have them in-house, but it's another some money the commissioners may use for projects and whatever you choose. There's a few rules, so I can go through those. The neat thing is now, going through everything of those ARPA funds, we don't have to hire some expensive people to tell us, answer all the questions. We know what the rules are. So, anyways, just update you on that. The last week, the commissioners requested I come up with the numbers on the circus, so I have those. I verbally told you we landed short, a little bit more than $10,000, right at $10,000, but that's not good enough, me just saying that, so I've got it broke down by every expenditure. I will print those off and give those to the commissioners so you can see where literally every penny was spent and every penny we took in.
Very well. Yep, get that to us. I know that was one of Don's thing. He wanted to know where it was at, and I understand we're probably going to lose money on it the first time, and a lot of it was because of advertising was not the best, and the barbecue wasn't what you wanted it to be, and I think advertising would have helped with that as well. So I understand it's going to be a shortfall, but I thoroughly enjoyed the evening down there.
That was a lot of event for a little bit of money.
Yep.
A lot of impact.
Yep. And the people that helped.
Countywide.
Yeah, the people that helped put it on, people that worked. I know Avondroff was at your beck and call helping, and all the people from here that helped. And
yeah, a lot of people put uncompensated time into it. That's right. Yeah. Even some of our county officials, elected officials. So.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned if it loses $10,000 or $12,000, but it'll be better next year.
Oh yeah. Learned
a lot. Learned a lot. So is that all your agenda, Bobby?
Yes, sir. I don't have anything else.
I guess you get with us, get with Wade, what we need to do with the signing of the documents. And keep us up to date on the other stuff. So, nobody has anything. We'll break for lunch and come back at 1 o'clock for the bond approval, I guess.
Roundtable?
Oh, Roundtable, sorry. Sorry, Bob.
I don't have anything. Oh, I don't have anything.
Oh. Well, then we'll go to Andrew. Andrew, see?
I just didn't want you to think about that now.
I knew nobody had anything else. We'll break for lunch, we'll come back at 1 o'clock.
That's at 12:02.
12:02.
Stop me before you do Roundtable while we did.
Yeah, I think that was a battery issue, yeah.
And the time was showing it was hour was 25 something like that. I don't know what time.
All right, we're back in session, 1 o'clock.
Wade, you want to be here for some of this conversation?
Well, I kind of figured he would be.
Richard?
Wade, Richard? Yeah, let's see if the rest of the parties are available. I think Wade left when I was pulling in.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, that, assuming you don't have to be, yeah, this time maybe you wanted to be.
I heard him. There he is. Speak of the man. Let's say the man, the myth, the legend.
I don't know about that. Is Tyler gonna be here?
I know he's
Okay.
somewhere here in the county,
And
but I talked
Richard's
to him
still
already.
there.
Bush Tyler.
Yeah. I think that's who he is at the bank.
So we kinda hanging out waiting on them. Okay.
Tommy said it might be a few more things.
So, we can cover a little bit of roundtable that was left over while we're in session.
The mail machine, does anyone know where else there might be room for it in the building? The appraiser's office is needing the location where it is now in their back room. And I talked to Brad.
Why do they need the location all of a sudden?
I think they're rearranging their employees, she said, where everyone is, so I don't know where else. And I talked to Brad, it would have to be someplace large enough and that it could be connected to the internet.
And open all the time.
Yeah.
I said Friday or Thursday when Andrea called me, I said it's been there, it can stay there as far as I'm concerned. So, that was my take on it. So,
I would think they could work around if they have that office, they have all that other office clear over on the other side, they can do stuff with.
they're probably the biggest office, other than the treasurer's office, that,
The users of it.
yeah. Either there or the treasurer's office, that's the only two choices I think a person has.
I don't think they got that room, do
They don't have a lot of room in the treasurer's office either. I mean, they do have that other big office to the east of, but I'd say it's there.
they? They'll have to remain there until we
Yeah.
get the new jail and you start rearranging, so.
I'd say just leave it
Yeah,
there.
that's true, because then a lot of things can change.
Yeah, you can make a central location for it at that time.
Think that would have to be, yeah,
Be able to go across the hall after that.
Yeah.
have to be in an office that's open all the time.
You can open that.
Just have a mail room. Had a gentleman,
Top of the morning.
afternoon, still.
Somewhere.
We was at 1 o'clock, but we waited for y'all, so.
Thanks, well, I'm trying to find the money, so,
You're trying to find money?
yes.
Well, you're in the wrong
Need to
department
find
for that.
Nope,
Did not find it.
nope, so we're gonna let Greg go first.
So wait, the good faith.
We're waiting on it. Yes, but we can go ahead.
Greg, you're front and center, sir.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Have nothing but good news to share with you, so I'm happy to be here. I've handed out copies of the final results, and there's some extra copies here. As you know, today we completed the sale, but you think back really the process that led us to this point, and then I'll walk you through the results of the sale. But obviously you had the election, voters approved the general obligation bonds in the amount of $20 million. And we've had a couple of discussions with you about, do we split the sale into two pieces, intentionally keep the series below $10 million so we can designate it bank qualified. That helps on the interest rate. And once we had identified the plan of finance, the first step in kind of moving forward at that point was adopting the authorizing resolution. And that's the resolution that the commission adopted that gave QTech Rock is bond counsel and our firm Raymond James is your financial advisor, and permission to start pulling everything together, go through the sale process, put ourselves in a position where we could bring final interest rates back to you. And so once you adopted that authorizing resolution, one of the first steps that we had was to go through the bond rating process. And we went to put in an application to Standard & Poor's, went through the rating process with them. Very pleased with the outcome of that process. They assigned a AA minus. AAA is the highest rating. There's very few issuers that actually get to that AAA category. AA is the next highest category, and even to get into that AA category is quite an accomplishment. And so we were really pleased. Appreciate the county's help with answering questions, providing information. And when you look at that rating report, there were a couple of comments that really stood out from my perspective. In assigning that AA minus rating, they referenced strong cash-based reserves, very strong liquidity, and positive annual operations. So just no surprise. I mean, we saw that when we looked at your financial statements. The county is well managed from a financial perspective, and that's reflected in that AA minus rating. We were hoping that we could get into that AA category. We were thinking could be between that or the next category lower, a single A rating. And being able to get into that AA category just helps give investors a greater degree of comfort in regards to the creditworthiness of the county. And when investors have a higher degree of comfort, they'll accept a slightly lower interest rate. So the better the rating, the lower interest rate. And so that really helped on the bond sale this morning. But then the next, once we had the rating in hand, there were a couple of additional steps that we needed to go through to get information to bidders. One was QTech Rock had prepared what's called a notice of sale that was published and shared with potential bidders. And then we also drafted a disclosure document. It's called an official statement, and we sent a preliminary official statement to all of the bidders. Let them know that we would be taking sealed bids for the sale of the bonds this morning at 10 o'clock. So that, really pleased with how that process went of getting everything ready, especially the rating. But while we were working on getting everything ready, very pleased with kind of the trend in the bond market or where interest rates were moving. This has been a challenging year in the bond market because we watched, we came off of record lows in August of 2020. We watched interest rates increase for most of this year, but interestingly enough, November was the strongest performance in the municipal bond market for any single month over the last 40 years. So we watched rates push up, but a pretty dramatic reversal during November, and that, all of that momentum and improvement in interest rates, kind of led right into today's sale. We watched, just to give you an idea of the change in interest rates, the municipal bond market tends to follow the U.S. Treasury market, and the 10-year Treasury note at the beginning of November was 4.25%, got as low as 3.49%, and today it was at 3.59%, so about 0.66% or 66 basis points better in just a short 30-day period, which is, may not seem like much of a change, but that's a really big change from our perspective in a pretty short period of time. So not only were interest rates coming down, but there was, for probably one of the first times all year, we saw really strong demand from investors. And bond investors are very active in terms of buying municipal bonds. There seems to be a little bit more money in the bond market. Some of that is coming from old bonds that have been redeemed, and that redemption money is going to investors, and now they need to reinvest that. So just a number of factors that just set the stage for a really good sale result this morning. So in that handout, if you don't mind, there's a page 3 that shows the bid tabulation. We had the process we went through today is what's referred to as a competitive sale, where we take sealed bids or competitive bids for the purchase of your bonds. and we award the sale to the firm that submits the lowest overall interest rate, or true interest cost, TIC. And when we have a competitive sale in Kansas of an issue this size, usually we'll get 3-4 bids. We're kind of happy when we get 5. We were really pleased to see that we had 6 bids here. So it was a nice number of bidders. We ended up with the best bid being submitted by Country Club Bank out of Leawood, Kansas, at an average interest rate of 3.67%. And then if you look, even the range of bids, 3.67, even the high bid, 3.78, was still very favorable. When you look back at where we have been, these are some of the lowest interest rates that from any of the estimates when we were running numbers and helping you before the campaign and then even after the campaign, bond election. But also thought I would point out, we have a nice mix of bidders just from a geographic perspective. Country Club Bank is a very active underwriter in Kansas, and they're located in Kansas. But Baker Group out of New York, Northland out of Minnesota, BOK or Bank of Oklahoma out of Oklahoma, Piper Sandler from Minnesota, and then Robert Baird from Wisconsin. So it's interesting, and all of those firms are very active on purchasing Kansas bonds. These are some of the names we expected to submit bids when we went through the process today. But we verified the accuracy of the Country Club Bank bid. We would recommend that you accept their offer or their proposal. And then one last thing before we leave this bid tabulation form. If you look at the line there in the middle, you see less premium. We thought that just in the bond market, purchasing bonds at a premium is very common these days. And we knew that, well, we expected every firm to submit a bid with a premium. That is what happened. Country Club has a offer to buy the bonds plus a premium of about $173,000, and where we are intentionally keeping the size below $10 million, we had to adjust the principal amount of the bonds so that the principal plus premium stays below that $10 million limitation. So with that said, if you turn to page 5, this shows the revised sizing of the bond issue after that Country Club bid was received at 10 o'clock. Initially, we had the size at $9,920,000 with that premium, and the premium is net of their fee, that $173,000 premium. We ended up setting the new issue principal amount at $9,745,000. That ends up with about $9,815,000 going into the project fund, and then balance of the proceeds are covering cost of issuance on the bond issue. But then when you look at the next page, this shows, page 6, it shows the bond pricing report, which can be a little complicated to look at, but I thought I would point out just in case you're interested. The column there in the middle where it says yield, those are the returns that an investor would get for purchasing the county's bonds. So an investor that is investing money for almost a 1-year return, or principal coming due in the year 2023, would get a return on their investment of 2.8%. Or if you're investing for a longer period, say you're buying some of the bonds that mature in the 20th year, you would be getting a return of 3.9%. And then again, the average interest rate, if you use the true interest cost, 3.67%, or net interest cost, 3.72%, those are the two most commonly used yield statistics when we look at a bond issue. But I wanted, so that 3.67% final interest rate, that's the lowest that we've seen as we've been looking at your issue and looking at a variety of scenarios. And I did want to point out and remind the Commission that at one point we were looking at, does part of this issue, or even possibly does all of the issue need to be completed as a taxable bond issue? And taxable bonds where the interest would be subject to federal income tax for any investor that buys your bonds. And when that's the case, they expect to get a higher rate of return because they know part of their interest income is going to be paid in taxes. That taxable scenario could have been required where you're housing federal prisoners. And you have to look at the amount of revenue, the usage. But I wanted to thank QTAC Rock for working with their tax attorneys to look through your plans, look through how the project was going to be financed. And clearly this first issue can be tax exempt. That saves you quite a bit of money, just being able to borrow at tax exempt rates. But then when we look at the overall project, I think, and I don't want to speak for Joe or Tyler, but there's still a pretty good chance that all or the vast majority of the remaining bonds can be done as a tax exempt issue. So our first analysis we ran had an interest rate of about 5.24%, and that was in part because we were unsure as to how that question of taxable, tax exempt would settle out. But then you look at even just recent interest rates, coming into October, 3.97%, and even a week ago we ran an estimate and thought we were going to be closer to about 3.78%, and then to end up at 3.67% is a really nice outcome. And to put that in terms of a dollar savings or interest savings, 0.4%, if we were closer to 4 instead of 3.67, or low 4% would be about $400,000 to $450,000 of interest savings. So not a big change in interest rate, but a pretty big savings in the interest that you're paying over time. So I will stop there and happy to answer any questions, and then if there's no questions, I'll turn it over to Tyler from QTAC, and he can talk to you about the process to accept the bid, lock in the interest rates, and the documentation that he'll be preparing to complete the closing.
Where did you say Country Club was from?
They're from Kansas. They originally their home location was on the plaza in Kansas City. Their municipal bond trading desk is in Leawood, Kansas.
So they're really fairly local.
Yeah, and Country Club is, I'm glad you asked that question because I had meant to, I know how important the local banks are to the county. And Country Club's bond department is really, their investor base is community banks throughout Kansas, Missouri, and some other states. So when they underwrite a bond issue, they oftentimes turn to local banks first to see if they are interested. And so that really gives local banks an opportunity to support the county and participate when Country Club Bank serves as an underwriter. Some of the other firms in other states, they may work with different investor base, but Country Club really gives local banks a chance to be involved and support your issue.
So the trend, you said it went down and then it kind of come back up just a little bit prior to the sale.
Mm-hmm.
What's your crystal ball saying for after the first of the year?
Well, I was hoping I would dodge that question because it's a tough one to answer.
I know it's a crystal ball, but
yeah,
I think you're possibly going to see another decrease after the first year, personally, but I don't know that.
Yeah,
I'm not in that line.
I don't disagree. I think our plan was, let's split this into two that has some interest rate benefit, and clearly, that's reflected in this. The risk was if we saw a dramatic rise in rates before we could get to the early part of next year, then we might regret splitting it into two series, and I don't know that I see that happening. It feels like so many things have kind of, what's led to the rally in the bond market the last 30 days, we saw, CPI and PPI, the inflation indexes, were a little better and kind of eased some concerns. The Federal Reserve and some of their commentary has started signaling that they're and the Federal Reserve is raising short-term rates, not long-term bond rates. But some of their comments lead the bond market to believe they're not gonna have to be as aggressive on some of those continued increases, that maybe they might kind of taper down to like 0.25% a couple of times, and then maybe that'll be enough. And so I think, and then you start to see, there was a little bit of strength in the jobs report on Friday, but that didn't alarm the bond market much at all. But it just feels like a lot of the statistics have helped the ease concerns of investors that were kind of watching interest rates, continue to move up. And now I think you're seeing some of that bond investors saying, well, I don't want to miss an opportunity to buy at these rates. And so the demand plus some of those economic statistics make me think that, yeah, we could see this carry over in the early part of next year. And, we don't have to make this decision today, but it really becomes a decision for the commissioners of, you don't need that money to begin construction, and we can choose to be patient as we get into the early part of next year on when you sell the remaining bonds. But, the question would be is if we see continued improvements, do we want to move more quickly, or do we want to wait closer to when you need the money for construction? If you think back to when we talked about this before, we had talked about your short-term investment rates relative to what you could get on the bonds, and I would bet that you'll be able to get investment rates that are, the 3.67% we locked in today. I bet you can find investments for that. So it's not going to cost you money while it sits there, but do we want to pay pretty close attention to the bond market and think about, do we come back early part of next year, or just be patient and closer to when you need that money for construction?
Because if it did go too wild and crazy, we could pull out of our reserves and roll it out another year or two, but let it try to set back.
Yeah, and I think what I owe for the commission is just to keep you updated on interest rates. And if we see a really strong January, you might say, well, this feels like it's a really good opportunity. Maybe we push ahead and lock it in. Or if we see some volatility, we say, let's just wait until closer to when you need it, or wait for a better opportunity.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's very good. I think it's very, very good that the county has been diligent with the accounts and getting the AA- rating is a feather in the hat, so to speak.
What's the minus mean?
So inside the AA category, you can be AA+, AA, or AA-. And so if you're inside the AA category, you're just kind of in the lower end of that category.
Still an A.
Kind of A-.
Yeah, it's an A-.
Yeah, just getting into that category is such an accomplishment, and so that, the next notch below a AA- is an A+, and that's when you start to see a differential, is when you kind of fall out of the AA category into the next category lower.
Gosh darn it, we lost AA+.
I know. Well, we had hopes for higher, but we were sure happy with AA-. So we'll take that any day of the week.
Yes, for sure.
Well, there's no other questions. I'd turn it over to Tyler, and he can talk to you about the remaining part of the process. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Howdy, Tyler.
Good to be with you. I think I've been here once before, and I know you're more accustomed to seeing my colleague Joe's face, but he's been monitoring this closely from back in Kansas City as we proceeded through the bond sale this morning and proceeded to update documents. So I want to start by saying I appreciate your patience with us this afternoon. Richard and I ducked in here a couple minutes after 1 o'clock, and the reason for that is just like where you sign a purchase contract to buy a house and you put down earnest money. When you sell bonds under Kansas law, the purchaser of those bonds has to provide a 2% good faith deposit. And the law says that you have to have that money in hand before you as the commission accept the best bid. Even though that wire went out before noon today, we weren't able to confirm that those funds were in your account until about 1:15. So that was the hold up, but we have that confirmation, and so you can act to accept the best bid. And really the process here is I have prepared a bond resolution which authorizes the issuance of the bonds. It authorizes the execution of various bond documents. It awards the contract to purchase the bonds to Country Club Bank. It locks in the interest rates. And it authorizes a couple of different policies and engagements that relate to the bonds. But really, adopting this resolution this afternoon is the single and final act, in addition to signing a bunch of paperwork that I have with me. But really, that's the single and final act that the Commission is being asked to undertake here in connection with this bond issue. So, with the adoption of this resolution this afternoon, I'll take the signed documents back with me if the chair will stick around and I can get those signed up. We basically assemble a transcript of all the bond documents in the next day or two, send that transcript to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General approves the bond proceedings, and then on December 22nd, we have our closing scheduled. The purchaser, Country Club Bank, wires the 98% of the purchase price that they didn't send you today, and we deliver the bond to them, and you have your first $10 million or so towards your jail project. So any questions about the process or what you're being asked this afternoon? No? Okay. The only other item to add, and Greg did a great job of walking through the interest rates and the various considerations on timing when it might make sense for us to come back and think about issuing the second piece of this bond issue in 2023. One thing that I know Richard is keeping an eye on is how much you're earning on your funds that are parked in the county's money market right now, which are north of 4% today, which is an incredible rate. If we issue these bonds for the second $10 million, if we issue them on a tax-exempt basis, you'll have to limit what you can earn on those invested proceeds until you need to spend that money for construction. That's a requirement of the federal tax code. If you issue bonds on a federally tax-exempt basis, the IRS doesn't like to see you going out and making money on the tax exemption that they provided. So that's just, that doesn't need to be the only aspect that we look at. That's just part of the broader picture of timing for that second series.
So basically, in a nutshell, you're gonna, having the bond, having the money in your account, the county is going to be spending basically zero on interest.
Right, you can find an investment vehicle that is a wash, more or less, close to a wash, to account for the interest that you're paying to sit on that money, but you can't earn money on it. So
it's going to be a wash,
right,
basically.
Right.
So we're not wasting, which I know that was talked prior to. You know, God, why do we need $20 million sitting in our account? We're paying interest on it for, 5 years. It seems hideous.
Right.
And so.
Right.
But if you're investing it correctly,
right,
then you can make that a wash.
And it's close, and I don't know exactly how close you can get, and maybe, Greg, do you have any thoughts on that, about the difference between, the arbitrage yield and the yield on bonds in terms of investment?
So, it's actually in the report there on this page where you have all the statistics, but so when we talk about the average interest rate on the bonds, we use what's called true interest cost, and that's the 3.67%. That investment yield limit that Tyler referred to is called the arbitrage yield, and on this first series, it's 3.50. So you're really close. It's not quite a perfect match off, dollar for dollar. But your comment is a good one in that there's not a huge inefficiency while it sits there. You're investing it pretty close to what you're paying. Right. So it's not really costing you money. You're not really incurring the bulk of the interest expenses until you start spending it on construction. That's in which, that was one of our big discussion points early on is, well, do we issue the bonds now? How soon do you need money? What do we do with the cash that you have? The other nice thing, too, is that we've talked about using your cash first. Well, I assume some of that cash is now invested in that money market that's getting that higher rate of return, and there's not an IRS limitation on your cash investment earnings. It's just on bond proceeds.
Perfect, thank you.
Very well.
All right. So unless there are further questions, I would recommend that you consider a motion to adopt the bond resolution updated with today's numbers, with one caveat, and that is part of that motion should be to waive the requirement that this good faith 2% amount was received by 1 p.m. today, since it was received by 1:15. So the motion would be to adopt the bond resolution updated with final numbers and waive the requirement that the good faith wire be received by 1 p.m.
She's typing diligently.
She's doing a great job.
Her fingers are walking.
Yes.
That's a good faith, what?
Wire be received by 1 p.m. Wade, any questions about that from your perspective?
Nope, makes sense.
Okay.
And should we say bond resolution number?
Yes, 896. Yes, thank you.
That's okay. Move to adopt the bond resolution number 896, updated with the final numbers, and waive the requirement that the good faith wire be received by 1 p.m.
Yes. That's it.
Should there be anything in there to authorize direct the chairman to sign any documents?
That is embedded in the
That's
resolution.
embedded in resolutions?
Yes,
Okay.
very good question.
Okay.
So all commissioners do not have to sign that resolution?
They will all sign it.
Okay.
They will
Okay.
all sign it. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you wanna make that motion?
I'll move.
I'll second it.
All right.
Moved by Jesse, seconded by Bob. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
You do the next two.
Huh?
You do the next two.
Right. So that's all we
I'm
had,
just
and I'll
trying to
just,
think if I had a question.
No,
That 2%'s gotta be done sometime though.
yeah, and it has been done. It was done about 1:15 today.
It was done,
It just
it
wasn't
by
done
1 o'clock.
by 1
Okay.
o'clock.
I understand that part, but I didn't know if that had to be in a motion as well to approve that.
No.
Okay.
No, just to waive, because we basically had it baked into the original sale proceedings, that was a requirement for the bidder to get that here by 1. And it just, sometimes that takes longer than.
I get it, but that's the only thing that's running through my mind, where's that money coming from, and is there a new motion needed to do that?
Right, no, we're covered.
They probably had it at the bank by 1, but just bank processing took longer than it needed.
So that was us sending them money, not them sending us
No,
money.
they're sending us money.
They're sending
They
us
send
money.
us money. Yes.
Well, that's why I took it.
Yes.
That's why I took it. I thought Tom was on the side of we was sending them money.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it was the other way around.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's really all I have. And if folks are available for signatures, whatever business you have this afternoon, I'm happy to stick around and we can get these documents signed.
You're the main reason, you guys are the main
Do
reason
we
we're
need
here.
to stay in
If-
session?
If we all have to sign it, yes.
Yes, yes. There are signatures for each of you on the resolution, and then,
Yes.
Well, hang out here.
Well, we'll stay in session and hang out here.
all right.
Wait for, sorry, my arm's out.
Actually, let me flag that for you because it's buried in the back.
Yeah.
Do you need
Tim,
some
you-
stickies
Sure,
or signatures?
sure.
I don't know if you guys look at the spending schedule,
Thank you.
but the first $10 million will take like 13 months,
13 minutes.
and then the next 10 million is 5.
The next 10 million goes real fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, getting the project off the ground is gonna be,
And so, like they were saying earlier, it's better to spend the bond money first, since we can actually keep the interest on the other, on our cash.
Right.
So, bond money first and then our money.
Okay, so this is a resolution, and that's set up for all your signatures. And then the other documents, we just need the chair and your clerk and the treasurer.
I know Bob won't like it. It says Bob instead of Robert.
Oh, we will make a note of that. We will make a note of that.
Do you want me to sign it, Bob?
You sign however you normally do. That's just fine.
Sure wish Tim and Don was here.
Yep.
Go ahead and seal it for you.
Yes, that'll be great.
What a day.
Yeah, and this is the balance of it right here. So, we'll breeze through it.
Killed a lot of trees.
That's right. We'll breeze through it. The nice thing is that this is all the commission action that's required, so everything else is really in our hands, kind of on the back end.
I'm glad it's in your hands, not mine.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
So how long was well, I guess they're supposed to have had all their numbers at 10 o'clock, so that was when the opening was at 10 o'clock then?
Yes.
Did you get both of these back, or do we keep one and you keep one?
Well, how about you keep one?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, and then if you all don't need to be in session just to sign, you're free to adjourn or do whatever you'd like to do.
Well, if you said if it was in the resolution to authorize director chairman to sign the documents, then
Yep.
we don't have to be in session unless they want to be.
You can hang around for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it'd be.
Did we
Yeah.
approve that resolution?
Yeah, that was
We did?
Yes.
That was part of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because it had all the exempt privilege, wonderful, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
I was, so if we did that, that's,
Unless you absolutely want to sit here and sign it.
no, I don't want to watch you.
No, you can sign too. It would have their name on it as well, correct?
No, it would just.
It's just as mine.
set up.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And you are here, so.
They don't get to share in the fun.
So I don't need to sign in your place, because you're here, so. You're gonna do
They're
it.
gonna want your name on it instead of mine.
You're gonna do it. Yeah, I know.
Well, all right, then I guess I'll hang out and wait for it.
All right, very good.
I think that's all we have for today, is it not?
I think.
Wade's got some more roundtable.
Wade says he's done.
Saving it for next week.
Save it
There
for
you
next
go.
week.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again for your patience. this
Thank you.
afternoon. Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
yep.
Takes a lot of hard work to do that. Takes a lot of time.
But, and I also wanted to say thank you for moving the approval to 1 o'clock, because there's a lot that happens between 10 and 1, so it gave us time to get this all kind of sorted out.
Right, yeah.
So thank you.
I figured you started panicking when we started asking if they could be moved up.
I did a little bit.
Okay.
It's all right. That's why we got, supposed to be there at 1 o'clock. I guess if we don't have anything else for the day,
No, if you'll just hang around, please.
we'll adjourn at 1:40 PM.
All right.
Great, I'll take that.
Way too.